Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Do you believe in fate? Chance meetings? True love? Misconnections? Mysterious strangers? Finding the cutest boy? So what I'm saying is, I accidentally opened up a crack in space-time. My glasses were just too cool for it to handle. I thought I had finally found the realm of hunky guys. But no, it was the dimension of fates. A land of cultists, ninjas, spirits, cute dragons, and horns. So I thought to myself, wow, someone should probably repair this rift in space and time. But then I got distracted. You got awfully.
喂，奥利，为什么我窗外有龙在飞啊？
Hold on one second.
Você tá sabendo alguma coisa sobre dragões na nossa dimensão?
Oh, one second. Hello?
우리 차원에 있는 용들에 대해 알고 싶어.
About that. Yes?
Otherly, there is a very large lizard here, and he is not being cool.
So I let a few dragons through the rift. Sue me. Don't actually sue me. I just spent all my money on little legends. I was going to fix the rift, but before I could, mythical new champions from the Dimension of Fates came through to our world. And now, introducing the legendary new set, Teamfight Tactics, Fates. Fates explores the mythical fantasy skin lines of the League universe. And now the top 8 tacticians from the TFT Galaxies Championship will discover the secrets of this fabled new set. Your fate is waiting. Are you ready for it? Dragons and set. Oh my! Hello everyone and welcome to the Teamfight Tactics Fates Showcase. After crowning KC61 as the world's best tactician for the Galaxy set, I think it's time we move on to something new. I'm Ovely, and joining me to witness this new fate that our players are going to experience today are our casters, Doa, Becca, and Crowan. Now guys, who is ready to toss out the old and bring in the new?
Hey, I mean, Galaxies was great, but I'm really excited about Fates. I'm more of a, fantasy person than a sci-fi person, so this is right up my alley anyway.
Oh, perfect. Becca, how do you feel about all these cute little new dragons and, as we saw in the promo, these hunky new mystical skin lines of champions?
I actually never saw that promo before, awfully. So I was really shocked, but it's true. There are a lot more hunky guys in this set, so I'm excited.
Crowan, I'm assuming that's definitely a draw for you as well. Cute dragons and hunky guys. What more could you ask for in a set?
Oh, I mean, definitely. You just said it's set. What more could we want? Lisa, we got them all. But I'm just excited to see some good games today. I'm sure we'll learn a lot.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear where my allegiance in this set lies. But listen, compared to our other showcases, instead of influencers, we now have the best 8 TFT players in the world who are going to be testing this out. So Doa, do you think we're going to see maybe a higher level of new gameplay with this release set?
I don't know. The thing is I hope we don't, honestly, because, or you mean for today or the set overall? Because
today,
in set 4 overall, obviously it's going to be much better. But like for today, I kind of hope not, because if anyone's good at the PBE right now out of our top 8, then they've been practicing wrong for the championships. Like, they should not have touched this. If I was their coach, I'd be like, no Fates until you're done with the championship. So it wouldn't be until like yesterday evening they would have gotten their hands on it if it were up to me. So I think we're in for a lot of fun. I love to watch pro players with their big brains experiment with stuff like this, so it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, and of course we have our analyst who is ready to break down the fate of the players today. Joining us is Giovanni Scarpati, who works as the lead game designer on TFT with this set. Giovanni, are you ready to see your game in action today?
Oh, absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here, and honestly, the start of a new set is always kind of Wild West, where everything's broken in OP, so even if these players haven't spent too much time with the set quite yet, I look forward to seeing what they can sort of whip up and throw together and break the game with, so yeah.
Any secret tips or tricks that you want to pass on to either our viewers or maybe even the players who are watching right now and trying to get into the zone?
First couple of days on PBE, people were saying Cultist is really powerful before people were kind of figuring out the sets and the intricacies, but otherwise, 5 cost, super flashy, super cool, super awesome. Definitely field them. They'll win you the game.
All right, well, I can't wait to get into that action, but before we do, why don't I introduce to you a little bit more about the new TFT set. And now, introducing the legendary new set, Teamfight Tactics, Fates. Fates explores the mythical fantasy skin lines of the League universe.
With Fates, we'll see a lot of very similarly talented people, but also I expect to see a lot of new faces, because Fates brings different mechanics and different ways of thinking that challenge you differently, unlike Galaxies.
One of the beauties of TFT is that it can be an ultra-competitive experience, and, skill matters.
So my favorite part about the Fate set is actually bringing back Kennen. Kennen was one of my favorite set 1 units. He was super high impact, he would stun the entire team, and he was a great item holder for early game and even late game. So I'm really excited to see him come back and see how he shines for Fates. One of the major key learnings throughout TFT set development is that we actually need to invest in tools that make the esports experience better. For viewers, for third-party developers, and for us.
That's one of the ways we hope to create more consistent competition during Fates and other sets in the future.
Now, like always, whenever we release a new set, there is just so many new champions, new items, new pieces, everything so intricate. Honestly, it overwhelms the bronze tier TFT player. So Doa, I am going to rely on you.
And I wish I could go through and talk about each one individually. Maybe I'll do that at some other place and some other time. But some of the ones that stand out to me early on, Cultist is a lot of fun. If you were a fan of the mech, you should be a fan of Cultist, because it's the same type of thing where you have this huge dude coming into the board, smashing everybody. The difference is that this time it comes in when your team gets down to 40% of their health. Still a lot of fun. Dusk is a really interesting champion, they give you 20% overall at 2, but then it also individually powers up the Dusk champions. Dusk Riven is extremely strong right now to use as a carry, so I'd recommend trying that out. The Exiles, of course, work very well. Yasuo early game, Yone very late game, but if you can handle getting them together, it can be very strong. Second page of Origins, Fortune is really interesting because it incentivizes loss streaking a little bit, because the payout is bigger the more you go through losing before finally winning and getting to open that bag of goodies, I guess you could say. Moonlight is also a really interesting trait. If you played other auto battlers, you're going to see something kind of familiar there, but they took that trait and then they made it even better by letting you focus what gets upgraded if there's a tie, and by putting items on them, which is really awesome. And then also the opportunity to have a 4-cost champion if everything is 3-star is really unique and really neat. So I love seeing kind of the evolution of something that we've seen before in other auto battlers. Very, very neat. Cool to see Ninja come back. A lot of people like Ninja from other sets. And then you've got stuff like Warlord, which is kind of, this is all very new to me as well, too. But this sort of kind of feels like the cybernetics of this trait, where it's like good just stats that are given to your team, basically. And then you kind of work your side synergies around that. So Warlord is one that I'm really interested in testing out and playing around a little bit with more.
Now, Doe, I'll let you know which Origin I'm most interested in. And of course, that is the boss with Set. You know, it's no secret. I love me some Set. But Becca, I do want to ask you, what's your favorite Origin out of what we saw?
So I haven't gotten to play too many games of Set 4, but I've really enjoyed Divine. I think the skins look really good because they just stand out. I think even like the 1-cost Wukong looks like a god, right? Because it's the god skin. So, I mean, it's really exciting to play for me.
Awesome. Well, those were our classes. I want to learn, or excuse me, those were our origins. I want to learn a little bit more about the classes. So, Crowan, what can you tell us?
Yeah, well, in this first page here, the classes, we see Adept, Assassin, Brawler, Dazzler, Duelist, and Hunter, but a couple that I wanted to highlight firstly is Adept. I think Adept is a really cool synergy because you only need 2 units to get it online. It's something that you can splash in, you know, mid-game, late game, whenever you want to counter in some of those fast attacking carries, so super cool there. Also, Dazzler, kind of the same thing, something you can splash in with only 2 units. You can reduce all of the enemy's attack damage to 50%. It works super well to counter specific specific comps, and with champions like Morgana and Ezreal, they have massive AoE effects that will consistently hit the majority of the enemy team. But that is not all. We do have 7 more classes right here with Keeper, Mage, Mystic, Vanguard, Shade, Sharpshooter, and Emperor. Some are returning, but a couple of these are new. A couple that interest me are Sharpshooter, firstly. It's kind of in part like, you know, the Blaster or Gunslinger of old in terms of your attacks being able to hit multiple enemies, but also the neat thing about Sharpshooter is that their spells will also ricochet to nearby enemies, dealing a bit of reduced damage. But if you take, say, Jinx, the 3-cost Fortune Sharpshooter, she'll fire off her rocket Fishbones that will stun and deal AoE damage, so you can imagine once you get up to that 6 Sharpshooter mark, exactly how much stun and how much damage that will be able to do. There's also Mage, which will now have a guaranteed casting twice for all those champions, so kind of like bringing it back to set 2, but you'll have the 100% chance to cast twice, just a bit of their spell power that's going to be modified with.
Awesome. I see like Kennen and Yuumi sticking out to me as the champions on the screen right now. Becca, coming to you again, what do you think was the most interesting class for you?
So I really like the what is it, like the throwback to set 2, where you could just throw in, like Crowan mentioned, for Adept, you only need 2 units, and then to improve the synergy you only need 1 extra unit. So it kind of reminds me of Cloud synergy. Was it Cloud?
Lightning had that too, actually. Yeah, I think those kinds of synergies are super fun and keeps the game flexible and allows you to tech in different smaller synergies throughout the game.
Yeah, and of course, what good are new champions without new items? So Doa, I'm going to go ahead and let you kick us off. What are our players going to be trying to build with this new set?
Oh my goodness, this is the screen that I still have to have open because I haven't memorized all of the spatula items myself yet. It takes a while, all right? But I think some of the really standout ones on here, I'm gonna just look at spatula items for the moment. The Elderwood one, I think Elderwood is a really interesting trait that when you get to splash it in with an extra spatula champion, you can do a lot of interesting things. Mage Cap, of course, is like one of my favorites because being able to give a champion the ability to double cast their spell is huge. So you can imagine all the crazy scenarios that come with the Mage Cap, and it's also just a very strong trait in general. Same goes for Duelist, being able to give someone the Duelist trait, give them that crazy attack speed. A lot of fun stuff you can do with that. So overall, I really like what they've done with the spatula items in this set, and it gives you a lot of really kind of unique things to do to champions, as well as sort of like build on those synergies, hit some of those like harder numbers to hit with the synergies. It's pretty cool.
And Crowan, what do you think? What stood out the most to you?
Yeah, I mean, the addition of new items is very exciting as we see, you know, Sunfire Cape and Gargoyle Stoneplate both. I think they've actually, well, Gargoyle actually was nerfed from what it says on screen right now, from 20 armor and 20 MR. That was a bit too strong, so now it's 12 of each, but it's still a really, really good item that, say, if you take, for example, imagine, you know, the set 3, like, Nico, like, having a Gargoyle Stoneplate on her in the as a solo frontline unit would be really, really cool. So it turns out, you know, what unit would you want in set 4 now to have that same strength? And Sunfire Cape, it was buffed. Now it's every 1 second at the start of combat, and every 1 second after random enemy gets burned for that true damage. So it's gonna be really, really good in the early game. Might fall off a bit late game, but still it's something that you can win streak with, which opens up a lot of different styles of play. So I'm excited for that.
Great. Well, in Galaxies, we saw a new mechanic where the game was affected by whichever galaxies the players happened to end up in. But Fates is getting a whole new mechanic with this new set. We've got Giovanni back with us to help us break down. Giovanni, what are the Chosen?
Yeah, so throughout the course of the game, Chosen Champions will occasionally appear in your shop, but only one at a time. These champions are bought at 2 stars, so they cost triple the normal amount, but they come with a couple of bonuses. First, they provide 2 points towards one of their traits, allowing you to sort of bolster that trait further than you normally would, almost like putting an additional spatula on them for free. If you remember from Rise of the Elements, Lux's avatar did this for certain traits, but this time it's basically every trait in the game that could support it. And second, they gain a combat bonus depending on their role. So if they're a tank, they'll gain extra health. If they're more of a caster, they'll gain spell power, etc. However, you can only have one Chosen at a time. Once you've bought one, Chosen will no longer appear in the shop until you've sold that original unit. So I'm excited to see how this plays out for players who are still learning the intricacies of the mechanics.
Now, when you see a Chosen pop up in your shop, is that something that you should insta-buy, or do you want to wait and shop around a little bit more?
There's a lot of early game power with Chosen. It's very common for players to buy one of the first couple they see in the shop, lean on them for a while, and then decide whether or not they want to stay in that origin or that trait, or sell it off later and look for something a little more powerful, because getting a 2-star 4 cost is a huge boost in power in the mid game if you're starting to fall off.
Got you. Thanks so much, Giovanni, for breaking that down, and thanks to all of our casters for breaking down all of this new information and new features that we are getting with the new Fates set. Honestly, I'm excited to jump into the action of today, but first let's go ahead and take a look at how today is going to play out with our format. So if you've watched the Galaxies Championship with us this week, format is a little bit different for today. Today we are only going to be playing 3 games. Here's the point breakdown, with first place getting 8 points and 8th place taking 1 point. Now, only 3 games, guys, so the player with the most points after those 3 games wins the entire thing. And of course, let's take a look at our prizing, because they gotta be playing for a little something something. First place is going to be going home with $3,000 in addition to their Galaxies Championship winning. So luckily our players are leaving pretty happy. Second through 4th place is going to be getting $2,000, and 5th through 8, $1,500. Now, if you weren't with us with the Galaxies Championship and you have no idea who these 8 players are, these are the top 8 TFT players in the world currently. We have KC61, our 16-year-old prodigy from France, who took the entire dang Galaxies Championship, followed by Lev D. Trotsky, It's Slooper, Voltairix, Shoemaker,
Don't try to remember it. This is.
I know.
This is
Bobe.
yes or no.
It's Bobe.
When the graphic is off the
Bobe!
screen, it's just
Bobe!
it's deleted from your brain. Don't even try. You did
Doa!
it. Crowan did it.
Doa, it was Bobe.
I saved it.
It was Bobe. It was our Korean representative. Hey, you know,
Yeah, Doa,
Korea
you
will
should
come up
know
in
that.
TFT eventually.
Yeah, Doa, you should know that. You should know
Hey,
that.
I was looking through a few traits on some of the champions I hadn't memorized yet. I was working, all right?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Doe, I mean, I bugged you about this a little bit before. Usually when we have these showcase matches, it's like influencers like Skara or something like that. But now we have these 8 top tacticians of the whole entire world. Becca, I'm actually going to ask you a little bit about this, because you participated in these showcases where you're thrown into a new set, little to no preparation. What do you think is going through the mind of the players right now, especially the fact that they just finished a whole Galaxies Championship?
Yeah, I think at this point they're just relieved, because if I were them, I would have been so stressed leading up to the actual final games. So now they just get to have fun and make a little bit of extra money. So, I mean, I think they're just happy and ready to... I think they're going to troll a little. And I'm excited to see them troll. I'm excited to see really good players troll.
It's so fun when they troll, though, because, listen, it's like, usually we feel so intimidated by them, because, I mean,
Yeah.
I could think back to the last showcase where we saw Keen just, like, rolling down incredibly fast, and we're all blown away by his talent. But so, Crowan, for you, what do you think we're going to see out of these 8 players, again, thrown into this new set?
I mean, yeah, as Don mentioned earlier, these players were probably all prepping for the Set 3, you know, Galaxies showcase, so they probably haven't gotten too many games. With that said, they're probably not going to make the most optimal plays, but they'll still be learning a lot throughout the course of the day. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, Game 3 is a lot better than Game 1, players figuring out what synergies and traits they like and which ones they want to run. I'm personally excited to see Dusk. I think Dusk is pretty strong, so maybe we'll see some Riven carries or something like that.
Definitely.
Doe, I know
mean,
that-
even if you haven't played any, you've definitely heard of the Riven carry by now.
Yeah.
Doe, I was going to pick your brain, because I feel like you've played the most of the new set out of all of us. Is that correct? I know it was between you and Crowan, right?
Probably. I've played
Yeah,
like
definitely
probably 40. All right, I've probably played like 40-ish games, maybe a few more on there. I just can't stop. I just queue up again and again. It's my life. But yeah, what were you gonna ask?
Oh, I was going to ask a little bit about Set, but before I talk about Set in the new Set 4, I do want to tell everyone who's watching that you guys can also explore the Fates in Teamfight Tactics next set. It launches next week with patch 10.19, so go ahead and show your support and share your favorite moments on social media with that hashtag TFTFates. Now, Doe, I'm going straight to you because I did want to ask about Set, but I'm actually now hearing that the players are indeed ready to test their fate, and we are about to go into the very first game of this new set. Casters, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, I'm sorry, Avali, I don't have his contact info for you, but if I get it, I will. I will let you know. But let's get into the set here. The first game of set 4, and this is going to be awesome. So right off the bat, we see Shoemaker from Japan picking up the TF off the carousel. Decided to go for the sword. So TF is a cultist now, cultist mage, and so we'll see if we get a little cultist action going on early. It can be a little bit tricky to find 3 of them early in the game, but if you do, having that Galio slam in can help you win a couple extra rounds.
Oh yeah, definitely. And with the addition of the chosen mechanic, say one of these players, RNGs a chosen cultist to give 2 of that trait, they only need 1 more, whether that's the Pike or the Elise or something to get that 3-piece synergy online. I think that's super, super strong in the early game, personally.
Yeah.
Wukong, you can already tell.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. You can already tell that the players are in such a different mood than yesterday. There's so much all chat and everyone's just XDing and trolling each other. I mean, who do you guys think is gonna do well? Or who do you guys think is gonna take it? Take the lobby.
That's a good question. Because it really is gonna have to be a player that can, learn on the fly, right? So we'll see. I think obviously I think you gotta say the EU players will probably do pretty well, but Shoemaker was really creative and played a lot of different comps. Oh, how about a free Diana 2? So
Oh.
Diana 2 is pretty decent, so if there's a chance he finds like a Moonlight Chosen or something, that can be a pretty strong early game. Good to do what he's doing, which is to wait to finish that pair until you see what you're getting. But Moonlight can be strong early on. I'm very like lukewarm on Moonlight as a trait overall. I've had like very good games with it, and then I've had games where you just kind of get rolled over. And it's a origin that you always have to be planning on how to transition out of most games, unless you're doing like the Hunter Aphelios thing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The point is that Diana 2 is a good pick up early.
Yeah, definitely. The Lysandra in the shop there just needs 1 more Moonlight in the form of Silas or an Aphelios to get that 3-piece online. I do think potentially Lysandra could be a good carry in the late game. She has a very low mana pool, I believe it's 50, so throw in a blue buff or blue sentinel on her, and once you get 3 Moonlights at that tier 3 level, one of them who's itemized the most will turn into a tier 4 unit, not something that we've seen in a very long time. I think there was a brief stint where there was like on PBE, like the GA, after you die you res to get to tier 4, but never made it to live servers. But now we'll actually see that with this Moonlight mechanic.
There's already a cultist synergy.
Yeah.
You see the Galio on the side, ready to jump in.
I'll jump in soon. Yep, there it goes.
Right now.
That's right. So if you have the, it looks like he's got a chosen Elise, and so he's able to get that trait a little bit easier that way, which is one of the better ways to get those traits online early game. Because the Chosen will have, of course, one of their either origin or class count as 2 of. Going back to Crone's point really quick, though, about the Lysandra, though, I actually did play a game like that, and it did pretty well, but I ended up going 4 Dazzler, and just the amount of attack damage that you reduce on the other team from that Dazzler trait helped her carry. She didn't do a ton of damage, but having her in with everything else at that star level felt pretty good. So I think there is maybe something there.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, having a 3-star unit because of the Moonlight synergy, I think is really fun. Just having a 3-star unit super early on without having to use any money.
It's a really fun synergy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to see Slooper's Callista here. Oh, Chauncey actually opened for it. Yeah, wow. It just
look at his face. He looks.
No space pirates to save you now.
Yeah.
It could be. Yeah, not in this set.
I guess you get a little bit of like I was gonna say you get like a little bit of space pirate kind of gold generation in the form of fortune. I know it's not the same, but maybe that's gonna be what Zhuangzi tries to pivot into in this game potentially.
You know, if you're gonna open fort, at least try to get fortune in there so that you're kind of building up that reward when you do eventually start winning. Which, speaking of fortune, Katarina, one of the 3 trait champions, is one of my favorites of the set actually. I think Katarina carry Brawler Assassins has some potential. And again, like all of the stuff I'm saying, take with a grain of salt because it's all very limited testing. It's all people doing crazy stuff in the PBE, so results don't really count like they do on like ranked or something like that. But I have had a couple good games with Katarina carry, you know, spin to win, right? She just does so much damage. And I think there might be something there. I'm going to say that a lot today. I'm going to talk about something, and I'm going to say there might be something there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I noticed in this set there are a lot more units with three traits, or 3, you know, origin classes.
I like that.
It makes it, it brings in a lot of different options, and it actually, I feel like it just makes the game a little harder to solve. So I like that they added it.
Yeah, I think so too. And one that I'm excited for, I think, is Cassiopeia. She's one of those 3 trait units. I think she's Dusk, Dazzler, and another that I don't remember offhand. But
Dusk,
either way,
Mystic,
I think her
Dazzler.
power. Mystic. Yeah, that's it. But I think she's super strong. She can CC in pretty much the whole board. I think she even reaches backline if she's placed in the front line. So really, really a lot of power there.
It is pretty far. She can be a little bit tanky. I like I said, I like the Dazzler trait overall, so I've tried different carries out of that, and she did pretty well, I'll say. Again, like my itemization probably wasn't ideal, but you know, she definitely seems like a strong champion. Just getting that AoE stun is always a good thing. Any hard CC you can get is always good. It looks like it's going to be Warlords for Voltairix here. And Warlords early can be really strong, especially when you pair that with the Vanguard synergy that he's got from the Wukong. So I think, like, in my opinion, Garen 2 is probably the strongest, like, very early round unit right now. Oh, I like this.
He got the Chosen Dusk.
Yeah.
So I know Crowan's excited.
I think Vayne is probably, you know, the worst Dusk unit.
That's true.
But still, excited
true.
to see Vayne be played at least a little bit here. In getting it makes it much easier to get that 6-piece synergy because there are 5 Dusk units in total. So you either need that Mantle of Dusk, you know, spatula item, or a Chosen Dusk to get to that 6-piece. But even so, it's just so much value right now. It's 20% spell power to the whole team just for having that Chosen unit. And Zhuangzi actually still up in 40.
What are you doing? Full open fort until Krug's apparently, but. Yeah. I think this Dusk Chosen Vayne is a great example of what I really like about the Chosen mechanic, because obviously this isn't a unit that he's going to keep for the rest of the game, at least probably not. But what it does do is, like Crone mentioned, it does give your whole team that 20% boost, and it does give you the Sharpshooter buff in this case as well, which is another strong early game trait if you have a strong front line. So this is like an extremely, extremely strong early board that Voltairix has right now.
Mm-hmm. I like the super natural Sunfire cape on Garen. It's the nostalgia of just playing League and having a Sunfire cape stacked on Garen.
We should probably mention too what Zhuangzi is trying to get done is something that we haven't seen as much of in set 3, but it is something that was common in earlier sets, and people still do it to a certain extent a little bit. But the idea is that you get a bunch of gold from the lost streak, and then you come into round 3-1 with like a ton of gold, so you can like roll for something good, you can level, ideally you become very strong very fast. But complete open forting like that, not even reducing the damage at all, I think is generally not an ideal way to play.
Yeah, see, already 3 Moonlight and 3 Elderwood from KC Double here. Our champion from yesterday, having a very, very strong start, I would say, in game number 1 here of this Fates showcase. Like, you're on round 2-6 and you have a tier 3 Aphelios. That's so strong.
yeah, exactly what I was talking about earlier with the random 3-star unit on stage 2.
Mm-hmm. The Hunter buff can be difficult to deal with sometimes if you get that going late in the game. And Aphelios just like sitting back. If you give Aphelios a lot of attack speed items, he pops off like crazy. He creates like a ton of turrets, does a lot of damage. So he is one of those early game units that right now you can kind of actually build your team around, I think.
What do you guys think of the Elderwood passive or the synergy? I haven't gotten to see it too much, so I'm curious what you guys think.
Yeah, I have some mixed thoughts about Elderwood. It does seem strong. I would need to see more of it tested, and I think, you know, we'll have a better insight after a couple of games here. But I will tentatively say that 3 Elderwood in the early game is strong, 6 Elderwood would be strong in the mid game, but they might fall off towards the late stages of the game.
Yeah.
Look at that board. Look, the petals flying everywhere. I mean, Brian really stepped up their game. I'm definitely swiping for this.
I definitely like the aesthetic in Fates. Like, you know, Galaxies is cool. Like, the whole space theme was neat, but like I mentioned, I like the fantasy environment a lot more. So it's cool to see more of a bright, cheery aesthetic to TFT return.
Yeah.
So
I think
AlphaGo.
Yeah, I think AlphaGo was also open forwarding at least a little bit. I know we saw like 2 units with the Zed and the Evelyn on board before, but nothing else. Gonna choose to now slam some items. QSS on the Zed there, along with that sword. 50 gold though at 3-1, pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. I think he just gave up Duelist though, which I'm a little bit surprised about. But kind of going all in on the Shade with Evelyn and Zed there. Meanwhile, Zhuangzi finally putting a bit of a board together. Finds
Only 3 units,
finds the Annie. Yeah, not bad. Still 50
more than
gold.
0.
Yeah, it's more than 0. Which is, you know, that's progress, right? Garen is so strong. He's huge. People thought Met Garen was scary. They hadn't met actual Garen yet.
With the same stupid dance.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see kind of reminiscent of set 1. I don't know if anyone remembers, but there was like Invincible Garen with like, you know, PD, like Morellos and like D-Claw way back then.
Yep.
That was so strong. I don't think we'll see quite the exact amount of strength of it, but just Garen having that. I know you're excited for Doa, right? The Warlord synergy. I think we had at least one player playing 3 Warlords early. Maybe you can be still a powerful force if you get to that like 6 or even 9 Warlord synergy later on into the game.
Oh, for sure. And the thing is, too, is, like, if you miss that Mech Garen and you're playing Warlords, all you need to do is put, like, double Titan's Resolve on Garen, and then he gets so big that when he does his dance at the end, it looks like the mech. So you can kind of, you know, if you're playing Warlord, you can kind of relive that vicariously by, recreating the mech, essentially. Some Galio action now for AlphaGo.
Do you guys know which Chosen trait that is on Callista?
That is Cultist, I believe.
Cultist?
Yep, that's right. So if you look at the left side of the screen where the traits are, you can always see which one is benefiting from Chosen, because it's got the little Chosen icon on there. Kind of nice that they have that so we can keep track of it. Nunu's pretty strong, it feels like.
I think Lefty has the Chosen... Is that Talon?
Oh, is that a Chosen Talon already? I think you need to be level 7
that
for that,
be
right?
Really early,
Is he level 7?
I am this is a little
It's that phase where we're all kind of learning to recognize all the different champions. I know I get like Morgana and Cassiopeia mixed up all the time in this set right now, which is weird because one has a snake tail and the other one doesn't. But hey, it happens. It's a similar color scheme, all right? But this is interesting.
See. It was a pike, I guess. No.
Oh yeah, pike.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, cultist assassin. Yeah. So let's see how this board fares. I don't know if Shade doesn't jump out as the strongest trait to me right now. There are some very strong units that use it though, so I feel like there's got to be a way to itemize and build to really use it well, but I haven't seen or found it quite yet.
So I think actually with Shade, Evelyn's a very interesting unit to me. She is one that can utilize a couple of tanky items and then Gunblade, and she'll just be able to spam her execute ultis a bunch and heal back up pretty much to full if she executes a unit. So that's a ton of damage. So if you're gonna play Shade, I think it's gonna be around an Evelyn carry, maybe with Kayn later. Kayn being a 5-cost Shade unit, maybe there's some cool stuff you can do with him. I haven't quite seen it yet, but I'm excited for the possibility.
Yeah,
the Evelyn was. Yeah, the Evelyn used to be popular in one of the previous sets too, right? With the Gunblade. And demons.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a really fun time, I think, with Evelyn.
It is neat to see a lot of the champions
Yeah.
come back from earlier sets. Like, you know, everyone's talking a lot about Kennen, who's pretty much back in the same form he was in what was that, set 1, I think it was?
Yeah.
And, you know, just that big AoE stun, lots of damage. He was, Ninja Elementalist back then? Now he's Ninja and...
Keeper.
Keeper. Oh, okay. That's why I was blanking.
yeah.
Yeah, Keeper.
Yeah, Keeper, one of those traits that doesn't really stand out as too strong. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong about that in initial impressions, but it doesn't seem like it's super value. That being said, I did personally try a Kennen carry the other day, and I had like 6 Dusk, made Kennen a Dusk, and had 4 Keepers.
Oh, man.
And ended up winning the lobby, but that's made a little bit of a high
insane.
roll there. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
That
pretty
might
good, 'cause
have
when
been
you
a-
get 6, I
a
think it
unique
was a little
game.
bit of a high roll.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
if you're able to make a unit like Kennen Dusk, think about all that spell power that you can get and how strong that'll be, though.
I'm a little bit surprised that Shoemaker sold that Nami. You know, there is something to be said for freeing up your ability to find another chosen unit. You know, once you sell your current chosen, they can start appearing in the shop again. But Nami, just as 2-star, is so strong because she usually just instant casts when the fight begins. And with the mage buff, it's kind of almost like 2 little mini Zephyrs because you're going to be hitting and lifting up 2 people on the other side of the team right away. So as long as you have some other damage on your board, I consider Nami to be one of the stronger early game units. Fortune Annie, that is an interesting prospect. I'd go for
Yeah.
that. You get the buff.
If you're able to find another Fortune, which there is Tom Kench right there in the shop as well, so could start making a little bit more money. Potentially. I also wanted to bring up, the fact of the selling the chosen Nami there, and maybe not even picking up this Annie here. If you're gonna want to get rid of a chosen unit, I think the best time to do that is right before the neutral rounds, because you'll have a passive shop to find, or 2 passive shops to find an extra chosen unit, and the roll down if you level to 7 and roll down, because XP values were changed. So you're not gonna be going level 8 quite as fast. So we might be seeing more roll downs in like level 6 or level 7 to find the chosen units that you do want.
Yeah, it's a good
Was
point.
that the only system change, or were there any changes to damage taken or damage dealt to Little Legends?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
but
I don't
could be
think there are
wrong.
any changes for that. There is a slight, I believe, shop system change, which if you don't purchase any units in the shop, you are guaranteed, like say we see Akali, Annie, and Tom Kench here in the shop that Shoemaker hasn't purchased. We will not see Akali, Annie, or Tom Kench in the next shop, guaranteed. But if he did buy one of those units, then he could see one in subsequently in the next shop.
Right.
yeah,
and
that
it
is
only
a
affects the
huge,
very next
change.
shop. Yeah.
Yes.
Makes it a little bit easier to find things. Wow, honestly, Thresh is one of my favorite units in the set right now, because the combination of Dusk and Vanguard is so useful in so many comps, because Vanguard is just a really strong trait still, and then being able to splash in Dusk by just adding in one other unit with everything else you've got is just a really big boost for your team. And Thresh is back to the ability he had in set 2, I believe it was, where he throws out that lantern that shields potentially a group of people. So I think Thresh is just one of the best units in the set right now.
Yeah, but I guess he doesn't want to pick it up because it's chosen on Vanguard. He looks like he wants mages, right? The mage.
Yeah. Well, see, the
I
thing
think a
is,
mage or Elderwood, perhaps.
Oh yeah.
could be. I mean, honestly, if he's going mages, then I would say you probably don't want the chosen Thresh, but you do want Thresh on your team at some point, because Lilia is going to be Dusk in the late game. You can add in other Dusks here and there while you build up to 6 mage. So I think Thresh is one of the core frontliners in mage comps, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah, we
For
saw him.
Assassin. All
We
right,
saw
let's
Sleeper skip the Cassio, and I definitely would have been tempted to pick that up. She feels so strong, and I think Morgana is also feels very, very strong. Is Morgana also a mystic in this, or is she? I forget what her traits are.
I don't.
She
believe
is Enlightened Dazzler.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the Dazzler units feel so good. Their ults are huge and really satisfying as well.
Yeah, Lux is another really good one. She's Divine Dazzler, and she gets that. She gets a stun similar to set 3 before 3.5 in a way.
Ezreal
But,
as well, being a Dazzler unit. I've seen people transition their early game or mid game item carriers into an Ezreal later on, and he does AOE damage, and he heals his whole team to what his ulti passes through. It's like such a large area. Dazzler on him is pretty good.
Isn't it
huge.
also attack speed change? Either a
yeah.
debuff or a buff, or is it both? Is he just really good?
I think it is
Yeah,
both.
Ezreal's
Yeah,
also
actually,
sick.
50% attack speed it gives to allies, and then slowing attack speed by enemies for 5 seconds as well. Healing allies, dealing damage. Like, he does it all. What does Ezreal not do?
Yeah, all the legendary units in this set are so unique and so powerful. I feel like Riot just keeps doing a really good job of taking into account what the community wants. Each set. Like, I think set 2 was boring for people because there wasn't that much personality in the units, and now these units are the most unique, full of character on each unit.
Talk about personality. There's really a trait called the boss with Set. Like, can't
Yeah,
get much more than that.
and he goes and does sit-ups on the side to heal. Like, I don't know. They got so creative with this set. I'm super excited for it to come out.
Yeah. What do you think about Assassin, Crowan? I've been trying to run it here and there. I feel like it's okay early, but it kind of falls off unless you're running, like I mentioned earlier, that Katarina carry. But I'm curious about what your opinion's on it. Looks like he's ditching it for 6 Warlord anyway, but what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, still a couple of Assassins here with Akali and Katarina. I love Assassin theoretically. I'm a player that just likes that playstyle. I was one of those people who played a bunch of Ninja Assassin in set 1 back when that was, you know, it was super meta. I think it is underwhelming, though, right now, at least, from first impressions in set 4. You talk about liking Katarina, but I actually had an opposite experience. I've tried to make Katarina work a lot of times to, you know, not great success. I will be interested to see if someone can make Assassin work. Like, Akali is an okay unit. I think if there is one, though, that will stand out, it would be Talon. I think Talon getting those resets, and he even, like, when he jumps, he goes invulnerable and everything. So just a super good champion or unit design there, and I'll be excited to see that. I just don't really have high hopes in thinking that it is just a good trait, though.
Right.
I definitely remember old Katarina in Imperials and stacking her with items, praying she would ult, and instead she would just die instantly.
It's the same feeling now.
A fun experiment. Oh, you really?
Okay,
so I'm not playing her.
Yeah, it's like if she ults, you can win the fight. If she doesn't, then it's questionable. You're probably not going to do it. But I think you can itemize and kind of finagle things in a way that lets her, you know, be more likely to do that. Her traits are just so good too that she's just useful in a lot of comps.
Her traits are good. There's actually one thing to note about Katarina. The changes from, you know, set 1 to now in set 4, you don't have the option to place Katarina in the front line and have her just stay there, so she'll more likely get her ult off when she's tanking units, because assassins will always jump to the back line now, so you kind of can't utilize that effectiveness how that Katarina got way back then.
Right.
It's also interesting that they have two synergies that jump to the back. So there's Shade and Assassins, right?
Yeah.
Shade also gets to the back line. Yeah.
Ooh, 6 mages here from Shoemaker with that Vigar. Vigar is an interesting mage, one that I've had my eye on. I think it can be really strong here, but Shoemaker is on a 3-loss streak. Can he bring it back here, though?
He actually got a chosen Vigar as well, right?
Yeah, it's on the bench, though, because I guess he doesn't want to sell the one on his board. Yeah, but wants to get that tier 3 instead.
Right. So playing against Zhuangzi right now, who is certainly getting in there, doing a lot of damage. Yeah,
the shades actually
are looking kind of good.
Well, that's good. They they drop the aggro as well, right? When they go into stealth.
Yeah, they do.
Right. So we should mention there is a little bit of a bug right now with the way Spirit works with Cultist, where it can result in your board being extremely strong. And so using that is technically banned for this event. However, some of the players may not actually be aware that that's a thing. So, you know, if they don't know, we'll make sure to try to let them know as soon as possible. It's hilarious to watch, don't get me wrong, but not something we probably want to encourage right now.
Yeah. Probably
fun
not.
with PvE is how we label that. Yeah. For Keeper. Okay, this is really interesting. I'm glad that Bobe is doing this, because Keeper is a trait. So basically what it does is it puts a shield on the people around the Keeper units. So think sort of similar to the way Rebels worked, but you're a little bit more free in how you can arrange it, right? Because if each keeper champion does that, you can have your different little pockets of keepers surrounded by people in different parts of the board. So your positioning is much more flexible. I don't feel that the shield is super strong right now in terms of what I've seen, but I like the idea of the trait. So I'm curious to see what people are going to be able to do with it.
Yeah. Wow, that
Okay,
Vigar
Vigar
actually
does
kind of
1v5.
1v9s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can. Those are great items for Vagar. Those might actually be perfect items for him.
Maybe. The Gunblade was really strong. They were healing him up as the cast went out. QSS, so you can't get CC'd for the first part of that fight. Blue buff just, you know, being blue buff, making sure you get those casts out that much faster. The lack of frontlines seemed to be a little bit of an issue. You know, you have that Hecarim up there, but no Vanguards to help protect him. Annie sort of being the supplementary frontline unit there is a little,
She's really
little
good.
scary. Yeah, she's good, but just as like, you know, one of the two frontline units, not sure if she can quite fit that role with no items and only tier 2.
Yeah, so Vagar carry totally works. The Elderwood buff doesn't help him too much, I don't think. And like you mentioned, the front line might be a little bit weak when it comes to the late game. But still, regardless of that, it's an extremely strong build. And, you know, honestly, maybe I'll take that back a little bit. I think there is a way to do Elderwood Mage Vagar carry that does work. And hopefully we'll see it here.
I mean,
that Vagar
Vigar's away from
rolling.
Vigar 3.
Yeah,
If he gets
he's
Vagar
rolling
3, he
for the
might just win.
Vigar.
Yeah.
What do you guys think is the
Oh,
best
there's another
standalone tank unit that he could put in at 8? Because I assume he would want a tank at this point.
Probably Sejuani. I think
Sejuani,
Sejuani's
okay.
a really, really good Vanguard, super tanky and stuns like kind of the whole board. It's a really, really strong solo frontline unit in my opinion, and it synergizes with the Hecarim for the Vanguard there.
Yeah.
Oh, is he actually still going Elderwood? Maybe he's not going mages?
He
yeah, maybe.
should. You're committed to mages at this point if you're trying to get Vagar 3. And Vagar has, you know, a similar ult to what we saw before, just a huge, big chunk of damage. And of course, with the mage trait now, he fires twice, and he nearly had enough. That was Nunu getting hungry at the end, but that was close.
Yeah, we saw a set there from Pope. One of the first
Yeah.
times we're seeing that one.
You want to tell us what set does, Crowan? It's pretty sick.
Oh yeah, so Set just he'll have his what is it called? His ulti from League. He'll like pick someone up, slam them down, do a bunch of AoE damage. When he gets to I believe 40% health, he'll run into the corner, do some sit-ups, and heal up to full. Or when your whole resting team dies, then he'll just get up immediately and say, "Oh wait, I got to start doing stuff," and then go back and have some stat bonuses there, get a little buffed up and ready to jump back into the action.
Yeah.
I have a side question. Can Set ever die before his sit-ups proc, or does it just
No.
immediately
I don't-
force him off the map?
Maybe he can get like one shot randomly
Maybe.
from a certain
guess
threshold
so.
of HP.
Yeah, could
Yeah.
he get one shot?
Yeah. I said no really fast, but then I'm like, you know, there's a world where you could just get like instantly killed by certain things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess maybe it's possible. I don't know. I've never seen him die before doing his
Ooh.
sit-ups, and looks like Shoemaker is out. We're gonna go check out what Volterix is up to. Shoemaker out in first.
Ooh, 4
Unfortunately.
dust. Pog.
Yeah. Who's his carry? Okay, let's see. Where's he got the
There-
items at? On Morgana. All right.
Morgana, yeah. There's a
I mean, those
lot
are-
of small synergies here for Volterix. You got, what, 8 synergies
Yeah.
right here? I mean, I guess the Emperor you can like, kind of like half count as one, but utilizing the Sand Soldiers to protect Morgana here, I really, really like that from Volterix. Just a very
Right.
smart utilization of that little Emperor synergy there.
So we should kind of explain that, how it works. You can see how Morgana's ability works on the screen right now, but what you get from the Azir is you essentially get 2 little dudes that you can put anywhere you want. They don't attack. They don't do any damage or anything like that. You can think of them as sort of like little movable pieces of terrain that need to be broken through to occupy those spaces. So like you mentioned, Crone, it's just a good way to sort of block out some potential damage from hitting one of your carries. Look at that, Riven
Yeah.
with no items, and she was almost able to win that either way.
That's what I'm saying. That's why Dusk is so good. No item Riven still did most damage, like by far. I know the Morgana got jumped on by Zed, and her ultimates weren't that great there. But man,
Yeah.
I'm just excited for Riven. I have some bias
Crowan
there
is
for
so
sure.
ready for Riven. He's so ready to play some Dusk right now.
I really am.
Dude, she's so strong. I've been playing it a little bit. usually my approach to games in general is when I hear something is strong, I avoid it like the plague. But you got to try it a little bit. So I've played a couple games with it, and she seems, if you liked the Riven that existed with the Riven Sorcerer comp that we had in set 3 for a while, you'll like what Riven can do in Dusk for sure. She can carry.
Wait, guys, Zhuangzi hasn't dropped around after starting with the open fort. I feel like he's just win streaking. He's been win streaking forever.
What does he
I
have?
wonder where he's at now. Yeah.
Well,
I want to check his board out soon here if we can.
He may be
Gargoyle stone plate.
He may be he is perhaps accidentally running the forbidden comp, the spirit cultist thing. Because if we look at right, because it is very strong. We'll put it that way. Well,
I see.
That's right. Well, so, meanwhile, looking at what Volterix is up
imagine I didn't ask that.
Whoops.
Sure. But anyway, it's gonna be hard, I think, for Volterix to win this game. I think he's gonna do well, but I really feel like in order to get the win, generally it's gonna need to be Riven. That's your carry. So I'm curious to see how the rest of this is gonna go.
Okay, I just saw the Azir come out on from the other side. Oh, that Azir was really good.
Katarina actually kind of did work there. Double Giant Slayer QSS, but kind of cleaned up. Okay, maybe it wasn't enough though.
Oh, wait, the Azir versus Azir fights are really funny because it just looks like one of those arcade games where they're trying to push the coins into off the thing with the slide. Do you know what I'm talking? Okay, maybe no one knows what I'm talking about. So what were Azir's synergies again? It was Emperor and
Warlord Keeper.
Warlord Keeper, okay.
Yeah. It's interesting when we see Keeper because you actually do get a little bit of use out of it. Azir is, I think, just a solid unit, as well as Riven. Riven being a Keeper you wouldn't normally think is too strong, but still being able to shield, your back line with your front line there is a little bit of extra power.
Yeah, it's a small shield, but it's something.
Yeah, it's kind of like a free locket, I suppose, kind of.
Yeah, that's true. It does kind of function like that. Yeah.
Okay,
look at this, though.
Both sides are cultist, yeah.
So Blitzcrank is not in this set, but now the one you need to worry about is Aatrox. He's going to win this fight, it looks like, but you saw his carry get pulled into the center there, so you need to worry about that. So Aatrox, what he does now is he pulls in, I believe it's the two farthest from him, and then he just does an AoE damage, just nuke right next to him. Yeah, he pulls in the farthest enemies and slams the ground is the tooltip and does some magic damage. So what you'll want to do towards the late game, if you start noticing some Aatroxes on the other side, is move your carries towards the middle and keep your less important stuff on the outside just to avoid them being pulled in. So Blitzcrank isn't around, but Aatrox is kind of carrying the torch this time.
Do you happen to know if Aatrox will target the Sand Soldiers?
I think he will, yeah. Sand Soldiers do count as a unit, so if they're at the corners, Aatrox will prioritize pulling those in, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're in the bottom left and right, they're going to get grabbed. From my experience.
A little bit of positioning that people can, utilize there to bait the Aatrox.
Well.
Yeah. Are the PvE minions different now as well?
Yep, that's right.
No
got new
Terra
neutral
Busters?
minions to take out. I think that's called like the Nexus minion right now, so it might be like pending new name or something like that. But it looks like a big sort of Nexus-y dimensional kind of creature, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, from what Becca was saying, what about the other rounds, like the Krugs or the Wolves? Like, what are those called now? I actually don't know.
We're gonna have to pay attention next game.
Yeah.
So I really like Warwick, I think, as a unit. Because I feel like in all the other sets, Warwick was kind of boring. But now he feels so... He feels like a hunter. And I know that's his trait, but he actually feels like... Okay, there goes Lee Sin.
I love Lee Sin. Lee Sin is my favorite unit in this set. Just to watch him punch people off the map. It's so fun. Oh no, double 61. It's all right. You won the important tournament yesterday. It's fine. He's out in 6. We have our top 4: Bobe, Zhuangzi, Volterius, and of course who we have on our screen right now, Slooper. Yep, that's right. And yeah, so now we're getting to late game. We're going to start to see some fun stuff because it is harder to hit levels 8 and 9. But once the 5 costs are hitting the board, it gets pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, definitely. Slooper getting third yesterday. He's really a strong player and seems to, have a good grasp at least. Well, I mean, I don't know how much of a good grasp these players have of set 4 yet, but I mean, being able to fit 4 Assassins, 6 Warlord in here, it seems like a good comp in theory. The Katarina build is very interesting, but seems to be doing a little bit of work there. Taking those Thieves' Gloves off and putting them on somebody else. Maybe they'll go on Akali, I would theorize, but we'll see.
It's really interesting. He just has a bunch of melee units, and he has the sand soldiers in the front line as well. So I feel like it's just so clustered up there. I wonder how this plays out. I mean, obviously he wants to take some of the aggro off his assassins, but I wonder how the units will path if they don't block each other out at any point.
Yeah,
well, I don't know.
He's scouting the other fight here.
Yeah.
Well, he's playing against Zhuangzi, so
yeah.
time to get deleted. Yep. Well, we will see who takes second in this game, I guess.
Slooper getting fourth there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like you mentioned. That bug is, I think, one that people just started talking about yesterday. It's pretty newly discovered. So if everyone was focusing on the championship for set 3, you wouldn't know that. So we won't assume anything from Zhuangzi. But yeah, definitely something we won't be seeing in the future games today.
Yeah.
Well, that said, it is very strong. It is fun to watch anyway. I don't mind. I enjoy watching boards get deleted. But
is Lulu in this set?
Yeah.
She is
Elderwood Mage.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Elderwood Mage.
What's her ability?
No, is she Elderwood? Yeah, she is Elderwood, isn't she?
Yeah. Her ability is like her ulti from League. She gives bonus HP, knocks people up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Both Lulu and Veigar are Elderwood mages. All right, third place for Volteriux, and now on board with Zhuangzi as he looks to close it out. And Bobe fighting for his life. If anyone can do it, the Riven can.
Agree.
Yep. We'll see if Bobe not able to beat the Ghost, so he's going to lose a little bit more HP. Yeah. Zhuangzi probably going to take this one. But yeah, I want to see more Lee Sin. So Lee Sin is a really fun unit in that he punches people off the map, which is great. But he can be a little bit tricky to work into your comp sometimes. I think the 5 costs in this set feel a lot more like the 5 costs from set 2, in that a lot of them you're able to just sort of splash in the late game no matter what. That said, Lee Sin's traits of a Divine Duelist are pretty comp specific. You're not gonna be, because Divine and Duelist aren't a lot of things that you're going to just have in excess in a lot of other comps, it seems like right now. I'm sure people will find better ways to work Duelists and Divine into late game comps. I've seen a couple ones that look encouraging, but he can be a little bit tricky to implement sometimes.
Yeah, a little bit. A duelist that I'm excited to see more of is Callista. I really like that rend mechanic. You throw a rend ability, you throw the Runeans on her, and she can be, pretty much executing a couple units at the same time. So I think that's going to be something that can fit in pretty well.
I won a game yesterday with Duelist Callista carry, actually.
Oh, nice.
It does work really, really well. If you give her a lot of attack speed, which she gets from Duelist anyway, but if you put more stuff on her, it works really well. There is our winner, as you can see, and that was game 1. So a lot of interesting stuff to sort of break down. We saw people trying a lot of different things. That game, I feel like it was a good chance to talk about the new origins and the classes and all that. I think game 2 on, people will have more of an idea about what they want to build towards, and those are going to be the games I think that we're going to get a lot more good analysis and data out of.
Definitely kind of warming up in this game number 1 here. Zhuangzi won. We saw a lot of cool approaches, I suppose, to this meta. We saw Elderwood, saw that Veigar, mages, really, really cool. We saw a bunch of cool stuff.
Yep.
We saw 6 warlords and 4 assassins, and that actually looked really fun. So I'm looking forward to trying that one.
Yeah, working assassins into comps is going to be cool to see how people do it, because there's a couple different ways I feel like you can build a front line around that. What were you going to say, though?
I do like how each unit feels strong on its own, even without the synergies. So it feels like you can play a lot more flexibly, a lot more paths to get to where you want to get late game.
Yeah, it's a very, very cool mechanic. But for now, let's send it over to Giovanni to break down that last game. Give us a little bit of analysis. Curious to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely. So a couple things stood out to me. I wanted to note that early game, we had a lot of players who were relying on a couple different things, an early Chosen, early Cultist, Moonlight, and Elderwood to sort of sustain themselves through early combat, win them, keep their health high. So here we had KC 61 running both Elderwood and Moonlight together, getting that early Aphelios level 3 and just kind of coasting his way through, I think, almost the end of stage 3, just off of what is effectively this comp. It was a pretty powerful start and something that I think that a lot of players will find themselves falling into early with a lot of these lower cost units forming 3-piece synergies that are quite powerful. Next up here, we've got an interesting clip from Shoemaker. He picked up a Chosen Vhagar here on 4-3, and I think had a lot of trouble deciding what exactly he wanted to do with it. In this particular case, he's already got a Vhagar who's stacked up a couple kills worth of SP, and if he puts 2 on the battlefield and starts winning combats, or at least getting a bunch of kills, if he eventually hits that level 3 Vhagar, he's just going to be able to one-shot people for the rest of combat. However, it kind of messes with his comp a little bit, and he struggles a bit even as he reaches 6 mages. And then finally, I just wanted to touch on this comp here that we had Volt running, which is pretty common on PvE. It involves using Mystic and Dazzler alongside some of their engine to basically sustain their way through combat. In this particular case, Morgana is quite powerful in the corner, shredding enemy MR and keeping herself at high health. So just a couple of really cool clips we've seen already.
Now, Giovanni, you were already, you basically introduced to us the concept of the Chosen, and now that we've got this first game out of the way, you know, we saw a couple players trying to decide, do I sell this one here and try to roll for a different one? Do I hold on to this one just in case? In your opinion, do you think the players have gotten a good grasp on that new mechanic yet?
I definitely think we've seen a couple players utilizing what we think is pretty optimal play oftentimes, which is to grab an early Chosen, even if it's not something that you want to stick with, selling it and then fishing for something new. I think there's a lot of nuance to when exactly you sell it. Like I heard the casters talking about doing it right before a PvE round. So you have a little more time to roll through natural shops or right before a roll down. And I think that a couple of the timings I saw were a little strange, but of course players are new to the set. We'll see them improve over time. But there's definitely a lot of depth to this mechanic that'll take a while for players to really dig into.
Yeah, it's the first game that we've seen so far. We still have 2 more games in the day for them to, you know, get a little bit better, feel out the set a little bit more. But one more thing that the casters were talking about that I also agreed with was they said that each champion just feels so unique and creative. So can you tell us a little bit about the design process for maybe picking out these champs for this set and giving them their own personal flair? Clearly, I'm a huge set fan.
Sure. So when it comes to 5 costs, there's definitely like a fantasy we want each of them to fulfill. Oftentimes it starts with like top level thematic, like what does Set do? Well, he's the boss. Do we want him to be a final boss in encounters? How do we get that into gameplay? But even when it comes to units like Nunu or Vhagar, basically anyone who we want to feel like a carry or an engine for a composition, what's their dream like? How do you itemize them? Like, how do they look when they're actually like winning combats for you? And that's something that's like super important to us to make sure that every game you play feels like there's something new and flashy that you can really focus on fights and enjoy.
Well, Giovanni, thank you so much for that breakdown. We're going to hear from you again later throughout the day. But first, let's go ahead and see our Game 1 winner once again. That, of course, being Juan Z with that first place win, locking in the 8 points to start off the day for him. Look at that with the Z. Yeah, he ran a pretty good comp. Do not know if he was aware of maybe a few issues that we were having with some of the champions, but just let it be known that I believe that that will be disabled for the rest of the event. Yes, the Cultist and Spirit bug. But let's go ahead and take a look at the standings. We have Juan Z at top with 8 points, Bobe at 7, and Shoemaker, our Japan rep, only at 1 point at the bottom. But honestly, we've been seeing a lot of interesting things coming out of these players. This is still the first game of the new set that we've seen so far. Doa, any surprises for you?
Surprises out of that game? a little bit. Seeing Bobe prioritize Keeper was something that I wasn't expecting. And, you know, again, like today, we're just going to see people experiment. It's just going to be fun seeing what people try out, seeing how it works. You know, it's like the PvE experience, right? You get on there, you're like, I just want to try this trait this game. So you just go for it. Your items aren't ideal, but it's fun to see how it all plays out. So it's going to be a lot more of that. But, yeah, I wonder if we're going to see people still trying to make a Keeper work. That's a trait that I've got a lot of questions about.
Yeah, definitely. And again, this entire event is all about experimentation. Everyone's learning. Like, this set still isn't even out yet, comes out pretty soon next week. No one's officially gotten their hands on the completed new set yet. So right now, we're just having fun. We're watching people potentially feed, maybe discovering some bugs to figure out. But again, we're just having a pretty fun time. So Crowan, I mean, again, this is still a new set. We still have a lot of things that we can learn about. Were there any points to you that stood out that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, one, I think in the form of a couple of champions, Vigar, as we see on our screen right here, that little ball of chaos does a lot of damage. See, yeah, Vigar will blast the lowest health enemy with burst of energy, and he also stacks over the course of the whole game. If you're able to get an early Vigar and kind of have him online with 3 Elderwood or 3 Mage, he can be super, super strong by the time that the game ends. So I'm curious to see with, you know, different Vigar builds like Blue Buff, you know, Gunblade, that QSS that we saw last game, what exactly will be optimal for him in the future.
Yeah, definitely a strong champion starting out so far. I wanted to talk about Warwick, who's a champion that I'm kind of excited to try out. I think we're going to swap over to that in a moment. But Warwick is... let me figure out his traits again. Hold on. I know it's Divine, Brawler, and Hunter, I believe, are the 3 traits for that. Hopefully get that picture up here pretty soon.
He feels like a hunter.
He does, yes. He is on the hunt like never before. There we go. There is Warwick. So basically what he does, as you can see, is he does damage to the lowest health enemy. And then, oh, that's Vagar again. It's still the same text. I was like, that doesn't sound right. No, what Warwick actually does is he actually gains a lot of attack speed and just starts going nuts, right? And he also, if he kills someone while he's ulting, he also fears people around on him so he can attack from range, and then just give him even more attack speed. Making him into a duelist is really strong, and then he kind of almost fills that same role that like Master Yi did in the 6 Blade Master build, where he can literally just like 1v9 the entire team if you get the right items on him, if you get his star level up to 2 and get the right synergies around him. So he's a really fun champion to see, and one I definitely recommend people try out.
So I can kind of fill in the blanks for you. I just went ahead and pulled up Warwick's stats since we're currently upgrading the graphics right now. Warwick, Primal Hunger. Warwick gains attack speed, lifesteal, and moves faster for the rest of combat. While in this state, if Warwick scores a takedown, he howls, "Awoo!" fearing all adjacent enemies for a
Sounds just
few
like that,
seconds. Too. Right? I mean,
I didn't know you did the voice effects for Warwick. Why didn't you tell me that? That's so cool.
Well, you know, look, I do the intro teases. I'm in space. I'm in a castle. I'm in the realm of hunky dudes, and now apparently I woo like Warwick. This is what you do with when you get TFT new sets. We are going to be launching into Game 2 pretty soon. But Becca, I want to come to you because right now we're, celebrating the new set. We're talking about everything that's new. Have you found anything that you've particularly liked?
So I'm definitely figuring out the set as I'm watching the players do it. So it feels like I'm just backseating them, asking questions about what's going on, what does this unit do. So I don't know exactly what I find to be my favorite so far, but I'm definitely enjoying my time learning the game with the players.
Well, I'm going to tell you what my favorite thing is so far. The new little legend, what is it called? The panda?
Chonk.
I never learned the names of any little legends. Tom, that's what they're called?
Everyone's using the chonk now. Yeah,
chonk?
It's like the big chubby dragon dude. Yeah, everybody. I mean, I'm using it. And then I've been in multiple PvE lobbies where everybody's a chonk. It's just like, welcome to Chonk World.
If there was a tier list of Little Legends, Chonk would be S tier. That's
definitely S tier.
S plus tier.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I noticed in the first game, like, so many people were still using the sprites. There were only, I think, a couple. Like, one was the chunky panda, one was just a dragon, which is cute and everything, but, like, come on, we need to see the real deal.
You gotta go use that PBE RP to pick it up. in the shop there. Yeah, you can try those out too. Playing on the PBE is really fun.
True.
I think, okay, Giovanni, if you're still here, just listen to this. TFT, but instead of champions, Little Legends. We just need to build
we'll
out
have enough
skills
eventually
for
to get
them.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I think so. Yeah, that would be interesting. It's a whole different game at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
There's also
All
a dragon now that plays guitar. If you're into that, if you're more of a guitar player than a drummer, Chonk is more for the drummers. Which I play guitar, so I don't know why I haven't gotten this dragon yet. But there's another dragon, Little Legend, that plays electric guitar.
It's so loud, actually. That
is.
Little Legend, maybe right. Turn it down just a little bit. But it's really cool though. I love the design there.
Well, people like ping their board, and then when you're like, "What are they talking about?" They'll just be like playing the guitar, and you're like, "Oh!"
So we have Chonk, that's the drummer. We have the dragon that plays the guitar. And we have that annoying little Silverwing thing that goes weep, 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 weep.
Oh, no.
So are we starting like a Little Legends band right now?
No.
Yeah, we're
not
ready to
with
kick that number out
Silverwing.
already, though. Yeah. No more of that. Yeah.
I think Chomp kind of plays the drums in his belly, A good addition to that band there.
He does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So who do
like
we have next? Do we have someone with a piano breakdown or?
Oh yeah, there's a piano like the little cat thingy. I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
Oh, the lion tiger. Little Legend.
Yeah.
The keyboard cat one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Got it.
Cool. Well, we're waiting for the game to start. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm
took
sorry.
over the
Are
host
you
role, my
hosting
bad.
Doa? Please go ahead. I'll allow it.
I'm sorry. It's just I just slip into that once in a while. I apologize. You're the host.
Okay. It's okay. I forgive you. So I will go and update the audience that we are waiting to get into that second game. We are just alerting all of the players about the cultist spirit bug, so that we do not have that issue. The forbidden comp, so that we don't have that issue again. This is still a brand new set. We are just finding all of these things in PBE right now. So no one go after Zhuangzi. He did not know. He was not informed. We're just learning about it. So only love. Wait. Oh, okay, Doa.
That's right.
Okay, Doa.
I said maybe he didn't know. I was agreeing with you.
Go ahead and throw that maybe in there. I like to give our players the benefit of the doubt. Okay.
Yeah, I would think he probably didn't know. He almost certainly did not know. But anyway, we should. So yeah, the forbidden comp is the Force Spirit and Cultist. You are not allowed to run that. It is. It's very strong in the worst way right now. So not going to see any more.
Should Riven be added to that? Because I keep hearing everyone say how absolutely strong she is.
Fine.
She's fine.
She's cool.
Okay.
No.
All right. That's totally okay. But Crowan, for you, let's say that you were competing in this and you had heard, pray tell, of this forbidden comp, and no one had brought it up to you. Would you try to sneak it in?
I mean, that's a little monkey. That's probably not, try to play by the.
Please do not ask me this question, Ollie.
No.
Hey, Becca.
No. And
hey, Becca.
You try to expose us out here, live on stream, Monka.
And let's be
No,
fair.
I play Riven every game. Riven every game for sure. That's me.
Let's
I
be
believe
honest. It'll be gone in a day or two, ideally, but hopefully. But until then, like if you're out there on the PvE, don't play it. It's just annoying. It's like you're not showing how skillful you are, and you're just kind of making the game less fun for other people. So please avoid it. Obviously, it's tempting, but let's actually like see what's good or not just what's buggy. There's my speech.
You know what you can do.
Sorry, I was kind of esports dad there. I apologize.
You esports dad. It's okay.
Yeah. You
Esports
kind of sound like you were
here.
burned by that comp a few times yourself.
I did lose to that this morning, actually. And it was like, oh, I'm just one of these.
Just one of those guys. Well, now you could be one of the caster guys because we have game 2 starting right now. Game 2 of 3. Take it away.
All right. Well, Zhuangzi, he is repented and has found the light and will no longer be piloting the forbidden comp in this tournament. We'll see what he has in mind for the next one. He did go for the pretty big loss streak early on in game number 1, so I'm curious to see if he's going to follow that same trend or if he will pick something different.
We'll see. Starting off. Oh, there's a guitar. I think you had that little legend there. Start off with a
Oh.
Garen with a rod there. Yeah, go
Now I
ahead,
see
Becca.
what you mean about the guitar.
It's so loud.
It is very
Yeah.
loud.
It reminds me of, speaking of bugs, it reminds me of a long, long time ago in the history of League of Legends. Long, long ago, back when I was playing League for the first time. That was my old guy voice. But anyway, let me get back to my normal
Oh,
old
so your
guy
normal
voice.
voice?
I was
no.
I knew you were gonna do that. But there was a bug for a short time where Amumu's laugh was global. And so whenever you would laugh with
yeah, I
Amumu,
remember
everyone in the
this.
game would hear it no matter where they were in the map. So you'd
Good
be like,
global
from the minute
taunt.
of the game began, you'd hear like and it was just like the most annoying laugh. And so he had a global laugh for a while.
We got some talented people here. Yo, Olive being the Warwick voice actress, you being the Amumu ones. Wow.
Oh,
how
thank you.
much talent we got here today.
A lot. Tons. Enormous amounts.
Couple warlords for Juan Z already. And just needs one more. Actually has the Jarvan on the bench, so is he one of your favorites?
Well, he found that early Katarina. So
Yeah, from the box.
he's gonna be able to get that warlord buff in there really early, which is pretty sick. Warlord buff, if it's just a Nidalee giving it to you, it's hit or miss if you're gonna be able to win rounds and really get the warlord trait going. Because you get the stat buff, but remember you also need to win rounds to get that extra buff from it. But with the Katarina in there, it should be in pretty good shape. But we're taking a look at I believe it's Bobe right now. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I should just actually look at the screen. And he's got that early enlightened buff going.
Yeah, a couple of units that I don't know if utilize it super well. Fiora is kind of the same as Fiora has been all 4 sets. It still has that riposte. It's still
much.
decent for still decent for the early
the
game though.
moonlight. The moonlight
I
chosen.
like
Oh no,
this,
it's Dazzler.
Yeah,
I do, and I kind of like that better, honestly, because it's so easy to find the Moonlight trait anyway, that if you can just get Dazzler of the two, synergy for Dazzler right off the bat, that can be really strong in the early game, because it shuts down a lot of the damage coming in from the other team at this point in the game. It's mostly just auto attacks that are determining the fights, right? So I would be picking up that Lysandra in a heartbeat, even without the Moonlight trait.
Same here. Bobe wanting to wait for a what he perceives as a better one though. As we go into 2-1, Bobe against Slooper. There's a Diana. If that was in Bobe's hands, we'll have that 3 Moonlight right now, but not going to be the case here.
Yep. I think Dazzler is a little bit of an underrated trait right now, because it doesn't look flashy when you look at it. You're just like, oh well, I lower their attack damage, yay, But when you think about how it actually functions in the game, like lowering attack damage by 50% for 4 seconds, which is what you get for the first level of that trait at 2, is a lot. That reduces the damage by a ton. Well, half, technically.
Another chosen.
Oh.
Sharpshooter, though. Sharpshooter, I've seen comps that do work out with, going up to 4 and then 6 Sharpshooter. I think there is some interesting things to experiment with there. Not looking like Pobe is going to want to go that route, though. But how greedy do you really, are you going to be with your first chosen unit? It's one that you can always, sell later on. But Pobe just not choosing to grab either.
Yeah,
I do
the
believe I
Sharpshooter
would
vein
pick up-
doesn't... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I would pick up most chosen units early, but maybe that is wrong. Maybe you do have to play greedy. I would just think that I want to play the strongest thing I can. So it's interesting, the decisions.
Especially if you're win streaking, right? If you can win streak up to Krugs, and then at that point sell your chosen unit, find the better one. Maybe you don't want to roll down after Krugs. You want to wait until you're a higher level, so you're kind of like, I don't want to sell it because I'll be weaker, but I want to passively find a good one. Maybe at that point you want to be finding a 3-cost chosen to carry you all the way through that mid game, to whereas a 1-cost or 2-cost might not have that same effect.
Yeah. I think as far as early chosens go, there's just a couple of them that are you kind of want to decide by the trait, I think, that gets chosen, because at the end of the day it's just a 2-star, right? And so that's strong early on, but you want something that's going to synergize well with your team or do well standing alone. Like 2 Dazzler is good on standalone. 2 Sharpshooter is pretty good because you do get the bounce from that, so he could have worked that in, I suppose. I think it's fine to swap out Enlightened for that. But, it is one of those things, too, where it's like, you're kind of looking for the right trait, too,
Yeah.
So he's against
Shoemaker?
Sharpshooter?
Oh yeah, with the sharpshooter
yep.
buff there. Yeah, with Nidalee and the Vayne, both of them. Has a Chosen Janna as well. Wonder which Chosen exactly that will be, whether it's Enlightened or Mystic. Oh, it's Enlightened, okay. Right-clicked it. Thank you, Bobe, for scanning that for us.
Janna's really strong, by the way. She doesn't do damage besides auto-attacking, but she does put shields on everybody. And so when you have the Enlightened trait chosen, she's going to get that cast off more often. And then if you put like a couple items on her, like a Shojin's or something, I think it's worth it, because just being able to constantly shield multiple people on your team during fights helps you sustain really well. I've had some really good results with a Janna chosen like that.
Yeah,
Do you know
especially early
if
game.
her shield gives any other buffs, or is it just a flat shield?
I think it gives attack damage, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, like in late.
It does, yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep. But the best part is
It's
just
like
putting a shield on people.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think at tier 2, yeah, she shields 3 people and gives 30 attack damage. So at the early game, like shielding all of those units right there,
wow.
the Nidalee, the Vayne, and the Yasuo perhaps, like that really, it really does add up.
Yeah,
30 damage this early? It's pretty huge.
And you have to keep in mind, too, when she's Enlightened, she's generating more mana as well from her auto attacks.
Oh, yeah.
So she's going to be casting that even more. So all you really need is like one tier on her, and she's immediately casting at the start of combat, and then casting it a lot.
Yeah. An interesting synergy little choice that you can make is actually Shojin. Shojin isn't like it is in set 3 right now. I don't think we've talked about it yet. But Shojin will give you flat mana now as opposed to a percentage. It'll give 5 mana per basic attack. And actually Enlightened bonus will synergize with it. So you'll get more than 5 mana per auto attack if it's on an Enlightened unit.
Yeah,
Look at these shields. Oh my god.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. Look at that. The Zed is basically... Janna's basically tanking that Zed. Finally goes down. Yeah. But that was close. If he'd had a little bit more of a front line, he could have won that fight.
I mean, Levdi's comp was so strong there. Had Aphelios 2 with some items, has Zed 2 being the chosen unit there. Like that was just really strong. You know, as we Levdi 100 HP win streaking fully, so.
Right.
Yeah, we have 2 people streaking. I wonder if they're going to play each other right before creeps.
We'll see. RNG. There are those times when there's like 200 HP players going into like almost stage 4, it seems, depending on how that matchmaking works out. But unfortunate for one of the two if they do run into each other right now, losing that streak.
Yeah, pretty much. Nobody wants to have that broken right before Krugs.
Yeah.
He did get in a tankier front line with the Wukong, right? Wukong 2? For Fiora?
Yep.
So he doesn't have the Vanguard buff though, which is interesting. Because maybe putting in the Garen over the Yasuo would help a little bit here, I think. Because the Yasuo doesn't give you anything, right? Because you don't have Duelist, and Exile is just like a shield, and it's not that great of a shield at this point in the game. So I think putting the Garen in would have made this board a lot stronger.
Yeah, maybe we could have won with
perma-shielding.
Yeah. Yeah, so imagine if he had the Vanguard buff in the front line, too. That would be a round that he'd be winning pretty easily. But this time doesn't look like he's going to be able to win it, I don't think. Yeah.
I love watching those sharpshooter shots just ricochet back and forth. They travel so far, but they're still dealing that damage. Ooh, Sejuani, that's a really good Vanguard for the front line there.
You got to pick that up. Like, swap out that Yasuo. Yeah, there's just sell him. Give it up. What? No. Shoemaker, you're
thinking about it.
Let's take a look at what Lev D is up to. Yeah.
Oh, Lev D and AlphaGo did run into each other, and AlphaGo lost by 1 unit there. So Lev D being the sole 100 HP win streaker now.
Yeah. Moonlight Shade is the buff there. So he's gonna have that Shade chosen Zed, which just means Zed is gonna be popping people for a lot of damage. So just kind of a nice side thing to throw in there. He's not even running the Diana, so he doesn't get the Assassin synergy or anything like that. But just Zed on his own being Ninja Shade. Oh, he doesn't have Assassin anyway. What am I talking about?
Yeah,
it's just good. Yeah. I'm new, guys.
Jumping
set is new.
Units.
I don't think I've seen anyone run for Shade yet, but if Lev D ends up finding an Evelynn and then a Kayn later on, we could see that for the first time.
It'd be cool.
500 bonus damage per auto, that would do so much. Or I guess every third auto, not every auto.
Yeah, every auto would be insane. What I've noticed about Shade is it can do really well, Evelyn carry seems good, but like it's very fragile. You know, it's definitely a glass cannon of a trait.
Yeah, what would be your front line with Shades?
You only need 3 units there, so you can have a couple different things. I wonder if brawlers can just be a good solid front line to put in. I'm more leaning towards the fact that vanguards are just going to be good, but it does depend on how much magic damage or attack damage the opponent's comps do have. Maybe brawlers are a viable option in the point of magic damage.
I want to see some hunter comps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Hunter seems like a good trait, but it seems like people have I've seen a couple good Hunter comps, but it's a tricky one to sort of build around. That right there on your screen is a great way to build around it. Aphelios is a good Hunter, but Ashe is also a great Hunter to make your carry. So we might get your wish here, Becca.
So is it just Ashe and Yasuo that have been in every single set so far?
Fiora? Question mark.
Oh,
yeah, I think Fiora was in set 1.
Yeah, she was definitely in set 1 as a
she was a noble, yeah, noble.
Oh, she was like a 5 cost, wasn't she? Way back when?
She's still 1 cost.
1 cost,
Was she? Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just imagining the Fiora I want to see. I don't know. She deserves it after being in so many sets. Deserves to be a higher cost unit.
I agree. Maybe set 5 we'll see a true carry Fiora there.
Yeah.
On set 4 for now. And set 4, I mean, I'm loving it so far. The Fates, we've talked about it a lot. I love the Chosen mechanic. We're seeing Chosen units just duke it out to the death here. Yasuo being the one that wins.
Yep.
With BT and Hand of Justice. A couple of really strong items there. 6 Duelist even as well from Slooper. Wow.
Wow. I want to see his board.
It's just Duelists.
Yeah, is Yon also a Duelist? No, right? That would be
no.
too strong.
Lee Sin's the 5 cost Duelist.
Yeah.
I believe,
that's right. Yeah, he's the Divine Duelist. Yeah.
Yeah, Yone being the Adept.
I think it really feels like Yasuo is a good duelist to build around early, and then Callista becomes a great duelist as well. But what you can do is focus more on sort of a melee-centric build and add things like Warlord, Vanguard, a little bit of Brawler maybe here or there. And then when you get to Master Yi, you can throw him in. And then if you get to a point where you can bring in Yone, another 5 cost, and the other Exile along with Yasuo, then that can be like a really strong late-game addition to a comp like this. If you're not doing the Callista carry.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're doing work, the Duelists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting that attack speed.
I was theorizing that anything above 4 Duelist might just not be great, because having to dedicate that many units to a synergy that already gives you attack speed, a decent amount of attack speed when you're at the 4 synergy, that would be too much. But 6, at least for now, is seeming strong. I wonder if it'll fall off later on, because as we're talking about, you wouldn't really have the front line to be able to supplement that.
Well, it definitely helps that he has the Chosen. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
He has the Chosen.
Lulu versus Lulu.
Supportal combat. We didn't get to see the end though. Sad. He should have watched that board more. Slooper, please.
Slooper looked at it and was like, I don't want to watch this. Just went back to his own board there. Can't blame him for that one.
Yeah, I would not want to watch that fight.
Has no love for the honorable duel between the support champions. I'm disgusted. I was becoming a Slooper fan, but no more.
Hey, I am a Slooper fan. I'll stick on that train. I think Slooper played really well, getting 3rd yesterday among 3 EU players getting top 4. I think Slooper really proved himself as a top competitor.
Well,
absolutely into the top 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, I was just gonna say that with the Duelists, him playing 6, it might also be because it is a new set and he just doesn't really want to get too confused in the process.
True.
If you see what I'm saying.
True.
It is so much easier to just build on one synergy because it is a bit overwhelming when all the champions are new and all the synergies are new.
Oh, that's a great point, because it wasn't until late into set 2 that people started, running that, a bunch of small synergies, with some sins getting really complicated and stuff. But at the beginning of a set, it's definitely going to be a lot easier and probably more effective, because you're just going to do it a lot better to just play, one comp, Warlords, Elderwood, something like that. So I think that's a great point for sure.
It's a good way to test things out. I will say, I think this set really incentivizes you to have a lot of side synergies with the Chosen mechanic. and it really does a good job of letting you incorporate those pretty smoothly, it feels like. So I think it's going to be a major pillar of the set, is being able to work in little side synergies along with whatever chosen you get. That's going to be a skill everyone's going to need to learn how to play some Sins now.
I think I mentioned it briefly, but this set does feel like a really good balance. I thought they did a good job of balancing set 1 and set 2 and set 3 in set 3, but I think this set is such a good balance of buildable synergies. So just like 2 units being in there, 3 units being in there for like and not going for the top tier of the synergy. So like 6 duelists or whatever, and having really impression leaving characters. Each character feels so fun. It's really entertaining to watch, just watching the fights.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if a set 4 meta does kind of establish of you just really don't really want more than like a 3 or 4 piece synergy, and that's really strong here. We do see a 6 piece here with Elderwoods, and maybe those things will be good. I mean, Vigar's doing so much work here, just absolutely demolishing everything. KC double, really making that work.
You know, Elderwood mages with Vhagar carry, I think it's really becoming something. Because I've been just actually yesterday night and then today, this morning, I was watching Mort's stream a little bit, and he was running into people doing this. I saw one in one of my games earlier. This is becoming a pretty common comp to see on the PvE, and I think it's definitely one of the stronger ones.
Oh, Chonk over there smacking his belly. He's so good.
He's drumming.
This little legend.
I love it.
It is great. See, he picked up the new little legend.
Yeah, he did.
He's ahead of the curve. What do you expect? The champion. He knows what to do.
Definitely knows what to do. I think there was a
Volt
suggestion.
with his pig.
Yeah.
Volt, like constant bore. Using the boars.
I think there was a suggestion on Twitter yesterday for like Riot, if you're listening, to design a little legend based off of, KC Double being, the world champion and all, kind of similar to how League gets skins for their champions. But I think that would be a neat little thing there.
1,000,000% in favor of this.
Yes.
That sounds
make it
amazing.
happen.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about how this comp actually works. So basically, Elderwood gives you stacking buffs over time during combat. So you become tankier, essentially, the longer the fight goes on. And what that does is it just gives Vhagar time to just keep shooting. Because whenever he kills somebody with his ability, he gains 1 spell power permanently. It's kind of a lot like his ability works in League of Legends proper. So over the course of the game, as you're ideally building towards the Vhagar 3, is what it feels like a lot of people go for in this comp, you're going to just be one-shotting everybody. Like, look at that. He almost just killed the Cinder with the very first cast. Yep. And every time he takes someone out, he gets stronger.
There we go. And he's going to be the one doing so. Like, there's no other damage dealers really on the team. So unless someone, KS's and gets that last hit, Vigar's, with this win streak, going to be getting 5 or 6 spell power like every single fight.
Yeah. It's crazy, right?
Kenneth's ult looked a bit bigger than the old one. Is it?
I thought so too, but I thought I was maybe crazy, but maybe it is.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that
the
until
board
right
is larger than it was
Maybe?
in set 1.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Perhaps.
Since the board is 2 rows wider than it was, or longer rather than it was in set 1, makes sense to make it a little bit bigger.
We can ask Giovanni later if that's a thing that Kenneth's ulti is actually larger or not, or if it's just our eyes playing tricks on us. So I have to remember that one for
our
later.
imaginations. Yeah. Taking a look at Volterex's board down there too, as he does a little bit of scouting, I guess.
Just based on the little that I've seen from Volt through this tournament, I feel like this set is going to be so good for a player like him. If he's just always playing the strongest board, and each of these units are so strong in and of themselves, I feel like this might be the set for players like Volt, right?
Could be. It definitely is a set that seems like it prioritizes playing your strongest board, because you're more inclined to think that way because of the chosen mechanic, and it's like if you're not picking one up, somebody else is. So you're gonna run into more early 2-stars in this set than you did before.
Yeah.
Let's check out what. Let's see. Still on the view of Shoemaker, I guess.
Yeah, we actually got confirmation from Mortdog in the chat that Kennen ulti has been increased.
Okay.
That
makes
is a
sense.
good thing to note. Yeah, I'm curious how Lev D utilizes Kennen into the later stages of the game. You know, maybe wanting to go more keepers, maybe going to go 4 ninjas. 4 ninjas is a thing that I would like in theory. I'm just not sure if it's strong. So seeing that proved would be very interesting to me.
Right. Let's swap again. Bobe is still going for that duelist build that we saw him do earlier. He's got 4 divine. Divine duelist seems like a very natural way to build a comp like this. He's got the Lee Sin as well, so if you can get a Lee Sin 2 and some items, we're going to start seeing some people get punched off the map.
Wait, Lee Sin and a set on the bench on level 7, 1%. Pobe.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, is it going to happen? Close. He has to punch you into the corner, and then he can punch you off the map.
Wow, that Callista did so much work, and she just stayed so safe.
Yep.
Oh, this comp looks fun.
Wait, Callista
I
has
think
a death
Callista
cap.
does look fun. Yeah. Does that affect her rend a lot?
I believe it does.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm actually curious to look up those numbers there, but it does scale off of magic damage, as you know everything does.
If I recall, when I was testing this yesterday, it increases the percentage health that each one of her spears does when she pulls it out. And she'll only pull it out when the target should die, essentially.
Yeah, so you only have to put in, you know, a fewer amount of spears if you have a lot of AP scaling with that death cap to actually be able to kill the target. So maybe that actually scales a lot better than I originally thought. Only having to auto attack them, you know, maybe like half the amount of times or something.
It's worked really well in all the games I've seen it in. This is becoming. There are no standard builds right now in set 4. Let's be clear. Everything is still very experimental. But people definitely seem to be leaning towards doing a duelist this way. They like the Callista carry.
Oh yeah.
For good reason. Yeah. This is a good thing to mention too. Guardian Angel is really important on your carries again because there's a lot of mechanics in this game that delete carries very quickly, like Veigar that we were just watching earlier. So I think we're definitely back to the time where you want to probably put a GA on your carry in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and having not only assassins, but now shades in, 2 things that jump into the back line. Having a GA is going to be that much more important. And speaking of Veigar, we see Casey double again, still win streaking. Both these players are win streaking actually, so one of them will come to an end here.
Yeah, we saw the double bubble from Nami. Nami looks like a really strong early game unit.
I think she is, yeah.
Yeah.
Agree. Callista too strong though. She did almost 9,000 damage in that fight.
Yep. Wow. It's a strong build, and as you can see too, it's your front line is not your stereotypical tanky front line, but just the amount of attack speed you get, the true damage and healing too. I think you get from Divine. Let me just double check that. Oh no, you take 25% reduced damage, and you start to deal true damage when you get down to 50% health or below. So yeah, you do get tanky very quickly with Divine up at like 4.
So what do you guys think he puts in at 8? Is he just going to play the set, or do you think he'll play Adept maybe with the Aurelion? Maybe a Shen?
Well, yeah.
I wonder what would be the strongest.
I think it's situational. I think Adept's just strong in general. I'm not quite sure, actually. There is the possibility of just 5-cost units being really dominant, and I mean, Pobe is holding on to the set for a reason, right? I would assume. It's just at what point does he decide to pivot maybe out of that, because already has a really strong basis of the comp right now with that 6 duelist and 4 divine. I can't really imagine anything else being too much better. There is the 4 shade.
Yeah. Oh, he did do it. Oh, okay, yeah, he found the cane. All right, now he's got to choose. Does he want blue cane or red cane? And he's gonna go with blue. So this is the damage one. I believe the other one is more self healing. Yeah, that's right. Yep. So
4 shade.
Tanky cane or less tanky?
How this will work.
Yeah.
4 ninjas as well paired onto this. We're really gonna do
he
wonders
does have
for
4
Zed.
ninjas in.
Yeah, Zed benefits so heavily from both of those. I wonder actually how much damage Zed will do, because 4 ninjas does give a spell power bonus to those ninjas, shade dealing bonus magic damage. Or is it bonus magic damage? Yeah, it is. So that should scale, right?
I don't know. I'm just looking at that Kennen's
Probably.
items being perfect. I'm excited to watch this fight.
Me too.
One thing with the Runins that we should mention now is that those secondary shots will, I believe, always find a target now. Before, sometimes if you put it on a melee champion, you would just kind of lose out on some of those if there weren't enough people in range. But now, if I recall correctly what I was reading, it should always find someone to hit those extra hits.
That's really good to know. I always felt a little awkward placing Runons on melee units. I'm glad they changed that.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're looking at Bobe again. See what he can do with his duelist comp. Still pretty good. If we could swap back over that Shade comp, I would really love to see that in action a little bit here. That would be neat to see.
Same.
So, if we
Yeah,
can...
did see him win that last round.
Yeah. Too soon. But yeah, Divine Duelist, this should be good for a top 4, I think. The way this comp looks, I know he just lost that round, but I think with if he still keeps getting upgrades in the at the rate you would expect, he should be top 4ing. So back to Lev D with the Shade comp. We're gonna watch this for a little while to see how it performs, because I honestly haven't seen this very often, so I'm curious how it's gonna work out.
Another choice that Lev D could have made was to use the spatula to make Zed a divine. It would only have been 2 divine if you keep the Irelia in at that point, but chose now to put this Irelia out with that in mind. But I wonder how 2 divine would work with Zed, just in terms of strength, because divine's still a good synergy, I think, at only a 2-piece.
Divine eventually gives you true damage, am I right? Or what's that?
It gives you damage reduction and true damage. Yeah, at 50%
both of
HP.
those.
Yep.
Ooh.
Maybe this is kind of what I'm talking about.
Oh my
Shade.
goodness.
He does it.
Wait,
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. The Zed, actually, that so much lifesteal. Maybe Rudeads is a better was a better choice there, because he just healed up pretty much everything. Kane, the supporting cast member there, did a little bit of damage. Didn't end up dying to use that redemption there, but still, the shades just pop off.
Right. It's interesting to see too, and I'm glad. This is one of the things I was looking forward to, because obviously, like today, like we're not here for the competition, right? We're here to just see like these big brains experiment with the set and see what they come up with. So I'm glad we're seeing someone take 4 Shade for a spin, because it's a difficult synergy to get to unless you get that chosen. And even if you do, a lot of times when I've seen people try this in the past, well, a lot, like over the last week, it just seems so fragile, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see this.
I wonder, how do you guys feel about Akali on this set?
I'm not sure. I want to like Akali, but I haven't really seen her do well enough to where I think she can be a consistent carry. Maybe there's like a 4 ninja build with all of those buffs that she'd be able to be good, but don't. Just a little hesitant right now to say that she's strong.
Wow.
Big loss.
That was very fast. Yeah, Shoemaker just slammed Lev D, and this is kind of what I was talking about with this 4 Shade build, is that it does a lot of damage, but it's very fragile. You are a melee glass cannon. You're a glass sword, I guess, which doesn't sound very good, but, you know, it can still cut things. But you were mentioning the Akali, actually, and I know I've been saying this a lot today, but I actually did try an Akali carry build yesterday, because I was thinking the same thing, because she does do, like, a pretty decent chunk of single target damage, but there's just nothing along with that, right? It's not like Shaco where he jumps out of combat for a second, and it's not like it stuns or does anything. It's just damage. So I tried it, and she can do a lot of damage, and she does it quickly, but yeah, it just didn't seem to keep up with the other carry options. There might be something there, but it didn't look super appealing to me yesterday when I tried it.
Yeah, I mean, watching that last fight, she did not look like she was able to get too much done. It didn't look like she killed anyone very quickly either. Well, what a shot.
Yeah.
Ooh. Actually getting Enlightened and Adept with that Irelia in. I like that. I wonder if Lev D will try to go for Kennen 3. So I think Kennen's kind of like a little bit of the unsung hero in this composition. Having that AoE massive stun, applying Morellos to everybody. I think it's super, super strong.
Yeah, 4 ninja as well. And things like the Adept is going to help him a lot, right? Because anything he can do to reduce the incoming damage is going to be really valuable, because he doesn't have a tanky team at all.
Yeah.
See what he does against Volterix here.
Volterix, the tier 3 Vigar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Double Shojin.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's deleting
this might be
everything.
rough.
Boom.
1 and a 2, and yeah.
Evelyn.
Oh.
Oh, all right.
The Evelyn,
nice.
the Evelyn went stealth and canceled the Vigar cast there, so she was able to. Oh my God, that was so clean, actually.
Wow.
Big
Mechanics.
Huh.
He's actually
That
going for
is
the
really
Evelyn 3 as
interesting.
well.
Yeah.
You know,
I wanna
it's
see
one of
that
those
Evelyn
fights
3.
where it's like, if you're the Vigar player, you're like, all right, well, if I play that guy again and I just happen to hit his Evelyn first, then that doesn't happen, you know?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of that as well. Oh wow, Shen 2, that's a really nice find. But that's cool to see it work against a strong comp like the Elderwood Vagar Mage carry.
Yeah, definitely. I thought that guarantee would have gone the other way in that Vigar winning, but I mean, Vigar specifically does target the lowest health enemies, so he won't be able to target those shades that are probably gonna be dropping aggro and not gonna be dropping low HP. So it's more likely that they'll be alive towards the end of the fight. Zed specifically because he has that lifesteal.
That is a 3-star Zed.
Oh my.
The Mia Ping left, probably jealous.
Can't blame
A
him.
little bit.
Oh, Zed got Zephyr there. And does that mean... Yeah, I was going to say, the Zed does not get into the action. There's a Zed 3 on the other side, though.
Yeah.
Wow.
AlphaGo, tier 3. So strong. Actually had some interesting Kindred items as well. RFC blue buff. I wonder if Kindred is viable kind of as that set 2 playstyle. You get that, say, RFC blue buff, some AP, maybe in the form of like a death cap or something. If she'll actually be able to do work there. I have to check that out later.
Yeah, I wonder. I haven't seen that a lot yet, so that's one that I honestly have not tried yet. Gonna have to do that today.
What unit is that? Is that Nunu? A golden Nunu?
That is Nunu, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
He looks a little
3.
silly in all gold.
Nunu 3,
this is gonna
he might
be-
look silly, but he is terrifying.
Yeah.
He is. This is going to be 6 Mage, 6 Elderwood next level for Voltairix here.
Yeah. Could be. If you can find one more, or maybe make someone an Elderwood.
Has
He
the
has
Ash on the bench.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Okay, there it is.
There we go.
Wow.
2 6-piece synergies is not something you're able to see achieved very often at all, but with the Chosen
Yeah.
Annie Mage and with the TF having that Elderwood spat, it's actually, viable.
Wow. I really like this build. This is the kind of thing that I think is going to be really neat about the Chosen mechanic and about set 4 in general, is your ability to have the opportunity every game to go for synergies that would not normally be possible. The builds, I almost wonder if the concept of like a standard build is kind of going to become something of the past, to a certain extent in this set, because of just how much you can swap those standard builds up with the Chosen mechanic and the spatula mechanic.
I love watching this Vigar.
Yeah.
It's dealing 3,000, like 2,000 to 3,000 damage just per cast there. He casts twice because of Mage.
Yep.
I wonder how much he's farmed the AP so far.
I'd love if Voltairix would just right-click that Vigar right now so we can see that spell power.
Probably
Please,
a lot
sir.
at this point. Shojin's
It's
Jeweled
definitely a
Gauntlet
lot.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's huge. Not to mention at 6 Mage, you get, 110%, 120%
Yep.
spell power?
Ooh,
Yeah,
Lilia
10%, I
too.
believe.
Yeah, I think it
Ooh,
was
can't-
120 and it got lowered a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't want to sell the Annies. Oh, considering it actually does end up selling the Annies, so... Man, it was only one
Wow.
away, though, from tier 3 Annie. I guess the point where Voltairix is 14 HP, you could lose in one round, so you want that power spike right now as opposed to greening out for later. So I do like that decision there.
Yeah.
So I have a question. If he were to sell that Annie with the items on it, would he lose the Chosen even if he has another Annie on the bench?
Yes, I believe you'd lose
Yep.
the Chosen. there.
Oh.
Yep. Because
Okay.
because that one would be the Chosen champion. So if you sell the Chosen one, then it's just gone.
Yeah.
Yep. Does not
wow.
transfer. It's non-transferable, unfortunately.
Well, I'm surprised
Man.
Volt is losing.
And he may be
Yeah,
out.
the brothers,
out.
too strong
Wow.
from Slooper, Yone Yasuo.
Yep, if you can add that Yone in late, the shield they get, and they get a bunch of lifesteal, it gets real strong real fast, especially with the items that Slooper has on this. This is like pretty much the peak strength, I think, of this comp. Being able to get a Yone 2
Yeah.
and the items on him, that's really, really good.
Totally.
I was going to ask what you guys thought was the best in slot for Yone so far. I know it's like really early, but I had no idea how I wanted to play Yone. So I'm curious, how do you guys think you should build it? I think the GA seems really nice.
Yeah, I like the GA. I think Hex Tech is just a great item on anyone that does a big chunk of damage. So that's just going to be a lot of healing. Third item, though, I don't know. I think it's hard to say.
I think spell power actually Yone would benefit a bit from. It's not like he's really carrying with his auto attacks that much. He's not like a duelist or anything, as opposed to Yasuo. So I think having one defensive item like a GA, a Gunblade, and then something else might be good. We're actually losing that round to KC doubles Vigar. I wonder what was the difference between that fight and the fight versus Volterix actually. That's
Does doubles Vigar have more
9
sustain?
Elderwood. 9. I think it was a 9 Elderwood.
That's
dude.
some sustain.
I've never seen that before. That is crazy. That is so much.
Yeah. All of a sudden, we're down to our top 2 with KC double 61 and Zhuangzi. Zhuangzi making it into the top 2 at least once again.
That's right.
What?
So doesn't even need the Forbidden Cop. See, we knew he was a good player anyway.
Ooh, 6 Assassin from Zhuangzi.
Wow, 6 Assassin? What?
Okay, we were talking about that earlier. Can Assassins be viable? Maybe when you get 6 of them, it can be.
Yeah.
I'm sure that helps, yeah. Because that's just such a huge bump to their crit chance and their damage and everything. Crazy.
Yeah. We'll see it right here.
All right.
I have absolutely no idea what is going to happen in this fight.
Me neither.
Excited to watch, though. I want to watch Katarina. What does she do? Does she carry? It takes a while for her to get her ulti off.
Oh,
she got it off.
She's doing damage, actually, yeah.
Yeah. They're slowly chewing through these Elderwood champions. Set slams in, and that's going to be enough damage to win the fight.
Yeah, Katarina doing 7k damage there, Akali dealing 4k. It's interesting, if you have RFC on Akali, you know, she used to not cast her spell at that point back in the day, but now she does, actually. She'll cast her spell from no matter what range she's at, it seems, because it did work with RFC there.
Yeah, I think she still only hits people in her normal range, though, right?
It looked like it was hitting. She cast from very far away. I guess we can take a look at it again during the next fight, but I believe it did work out, unless I'm crazy.
I've been afraid to try that because I was like, all right, am I going to get into the trap where, yeah, I'm doing it, but then if I ult, just no one's around me?
Yeah.
So I'll have to try that. I don't know.
We'll see here, because Akali is jumping to the side. Warlord Akali at that.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about his Warlord, the Sand Soldier placement?
I didn't get to see it before the round started.
It was just in the back row. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That was fast. Zhuangzi. He did it again. He found it.
He did it.
He found a new synergy. Yep, that's right.
Zhuangzi maybe going triple first once again.
Triple
could be.
That would be the third triple first in this tournament. Yeah.
Well, Zhuangzi is legit.
Just dominating.
Yeah. But that was such a good example of, you know, again, like what excites me about set 4 is that the way the chosen mechanic works, it just really, really switches up what you think about when you're playing through the game, where it's like you need to really be able to recognize where you have an opportunity to get to those really high levels of like prestige synergy, like something like 6 Assassins, because that's something you have to think about like a little bit in set 3 with spatula items and all that, but in set 4 that always needs to be part of your game plan, is how you're going to handle that if you come across it. Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, we in that last fight we saw 9 synergy versus 6 synergy, both at the max tier. Yeah, it's definitely different.
That excites me actually a lot. You know, the assassins really doing work there. Zhuangzi's inspiring me to want to go into, you know, some games later on today or something and try that out. I think that Katarina looked super good. The Akali actually did as well, and you know, we just get to see what those top tier synergies can do. Theorizing, you know, with that question, is it better for smaller piece synergies or larger ones? It's gonna be easier at the beginning of a set to do those larger ones, but we might see a little bit more of that shift as the set goes on.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen that Veigar carry Elderwood build lose, actually, and that was even like an extreme version of it. So it's so definitely that's a fun one to play on the ladder if you get a chance to do the Veigar carry. It's a really fun build, and don't be afraid of assassins because normally there's not going to be 6 of them. But either way, that was neat to see that something can beat it. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, let's throw it over to Giovanni to get a little bit more insight into what we saw in that last game.
Yeah, we had some super cool compositions there, pretty varied endings. We saw 6 Duelists, 6 Assassins, 9 Elderwood. I wanted to start off by just pointing out how early KC Double ended up having these 6 Woodland. He not only had a commander, chosen in excuse me, in Elderwood, but also ended up with an Elderwood Spatula super early, put on the Tom Kench early, eventually ended up transitioning it over to, I want to say, a Warwick, and then to someone else at the very end. But super cool to see just how early that power spike can occur in a combination between Chosen and Spatula items. And you can just see the power of this comp super early, getting those Vagar stacks that ended up carrying him to second place. Second up, I wanted to show off Callista here in 6 Duelist. You can see her in the back line. Her attack speed has kind of been solved for Duelist for her, and she can just go to town with this Death Cap to increase the amount of Rin damage, and the Hurricane to hit multiple targets, just chewed through enemies, even the tankiest, all through the mid-game. Really powerful. And then finally here, we'll show off this final fight here. It seemed like 9 Elderwood was completely unstoppable. It had been dominating the game for a long time, but these Assassins can just get in the backline and deal tons of damage before those Elderwood stacks can get really powered up. They take about 10 seconds to fully empower, and Assassins just take them out in 3 to 4. So.
Yeah, Giovanni, we saw the Assassins, we saw the Elderwood. Now that we've gotten 2 games into the set so far, I mean, when we think about our last showcases, we had like the 2 lobbies, and Lobby 2 always learned from Lobby 1, and we're a little bit better prepared, I could say. So as we move into Game 3, do you think that the 8 players in this lobby have established anything that could resemble a meta?
Probably not so far. I think it's one of those things where when you see mages like really start to surge up in power, Assassins and Shades sort of come in, and then we'll see players like moving positions and maybe running vanguards. And so I think there's still a lot of options and flex room for players. A lot of the casters had honestly mentioned that just playing your best board, what's really strong for you and what's coming into you and adapting to that is super powerful. So I expect we'll be seeing that a lot more.
All right, then the last question that I have for you. We were actually talking about this before we were getting into Game 2. With all of these new little legends coming out, some of them do have pretty cool features. And I was browsing through Twitter during one of our breaks, and I saw one of the game designers point out that the 3 little legends may actually be forming a band. Can you confirm that? Or can you give us a little bit of a tease?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think this has been posted on Twitter, and I will probably end up putting a video out on this right before release. But if you end up taunting with the Little Legends, one of theirs is a musical related one, and they all line up together super well, and they play together to make this really awesome song. But I will say that they don't automatically line up. They don't join at the right time. So my expectation is in reality, probably when this first comes out, you'll have a lot of people off beat by half a measure as they try to join in. And, it's just the fun of Little Legends.
Yeah, included in the TFT loading screen where you get, tips and everything, just music theory should be showcased there. But thank you once again, Giovanni. We'll catch up with you again at the end of the day. But let's go ahead and take a look at our Game 2 winner once again, or should I say Game 1 and Game 2, because Zhuangzi again pulling off the win with those Assassins. And would you look at that, the 3rd champion he has on his board right there, set. Yeah, congratulations to Zhuangzi. He is now definitely at the top of the standings as we go ahead and take a look at that. 8 plus 8, I'm going to do the math in my head. Boom, 16 points. Here we have Slooper at 11 points right next to him, and then KC Double and Voltario at 10 as well. Shoemaker is not having a good day. What is going on, buddy? 2 last place finishes. Now, as we get into that 3rd and final game, we're going to see if Zhuangzi can pull off the 3-game-in-a-row first-place run. He did it in the middle of the Galaxies Championship, so now let's see if maybe he could bring that skill to this fun showcase that we have as well. Now, remember, everyone, if you're enjoying watching the new TFT Fate set, it's not too far off for you to also get your hands on it. You can explore the fates in Teamfight Tactics next set, which launches next week with the 10.19 patch. Show some support and share your favorite moments on social media using that hashtag TFTFates. Now, we have the third and final game coming up shortly, but before we get into that, we are going to take a quick break. So for more Fates action, stick around. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Teamfight Tactics Fates Showcase. Wait a second guys, that was the first time I've ever seen that little clip and I'm freaking in love. He got his spatula at the end!
What's he gonna use it for though?
I don't know, there's just so many
Besides, like,
items.
flipping pancakes, I guess, but, you know.
I
Besides the obvious.
mean,
Besides
I
the
would
obvious.
use that spatula to smack Chonk's belly. I think that is the best use for it.
Not what I was expecting, but you know, respect it.
Trying to
Doa's
figure that
giving
one
you
out.
the judgmental look, but I mean, I guess
It's more the quizzical
Chonky Boy
look.
could just use his own hands and tail to smack things around. Oh, wait a second, I forgot. We have games of TFT to be playing. We can't just talk about Pangus the entire time. Two games out of the way. We have one player, Juan Z, who has won the first two. We could go ahead and take a look at the standings on the screen right now as we get into that third and final game. There's only one game left for you guys to rack up points. Looking at it, and honestly, Slooper is only 5 points behind Zhuangzi. So if Slooper pulls off, you know, a pretty good showing, and Zhuangzi happens to tank it a little bit, there's a pretty good chance for a comeback. What do you think, Doa?
I think it's definitely possible. I mean, Zhuangzi is looking pretty strong, obviously, today, but Slooper's definitely got a chance. I would say even players like Double 61, our champion of set 3, has a chance to come back and win it, depending on how a couple things shake out. But yeah. Gotta happen to somebody, but he needs a bit more practice on the PBE, it seems like.
Yeah, he may be able to move up to that. I'm looking at my note right now. He may be able to move up to that secondary prizing, but definitely he's not going to be anywhere close to the top with the first two performances. But, I mean, let's go ahead and talk about the first two games that we've seen so far because, wow, we saw, what was it, like the 9 Elderwood, we saw the 6 Assassin comps. Becca, for you, what was your favorite part of the first two games?
The number of Vygar players. It seems like everyone seems to be favoring that. I mean, it is a little bit of a comfort pick too, because you know how he works based on other sets. So the prevalence of Vygar, my favorite part so far.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of really new and unique champions coming out with this set. One of them being Lee Sin. Do, what have you thought about him?
Oh, I think Lee Sin's awesome. We've seen him a little bit, but I just love watching it. It's just funny to see people get punched off the side of the map. And you know, as long as you build some tanky items on him, get him to 2-star ideally, he will be doing that quite a bit in a lot of your rounds. And that's how I would probably try to build him right now, because he doesn't really need the damage because he just essentially one-shots people. So just make sure he lives long enough to do it.
Now, Do, excuse me one moment, because I took a few notes from the chat in that last game.
Oh,
I believe
great.
everyone voice-acted a champion, I think except for you and maybe Crowan so far. So the chat spoke, specifically Mort in the chat has asked that you do a voice line of Lee Sin. So please, here you go.
Oh, wait, is this a voice line for Lee Sin? If I'm like, your skills are inferior. Is that Lee Sin? I can't remember. I think it might be.
Wait, that was so good.
Did you just play a clip of Lee Sin?
No, that was just me. Sometimes I like to talk like the champions. No, wait, that's more like Yasuo. I think more like that.
Do, just close your eyes for a second.
Unsheath the blade again.
Do, go ahead, close your eyes really fast just for...
Okay.
Oh my god, is that Lee Sin?
Oh, it is. You're right. I just have to go like this. I see what you did there.
Before we get into any other impressions, I do want to remind everyone watching that you guys can explore the fates in Teamfight Tactics next week as it launches with the patch 10.19. You guys can show your support and share some of your favorite moments on social media using that hashtag TFTFates, especially that voice line that Doa just expertly delivered for us here. But guys, I don't know, man. But hey, listen, we are getting into that third and final game of the day. It all comes down to this. Casters, take it away.
All right, well, we still need to get one from Crone at some point, but I won't hold you to it. Don't.
You know,
don't
no, I'm ready actually. I'll
Oh,
do it.
all right.
One of my
Go for
favorite
it.
voice actors is Liam O'Brien, who voice acts Yasuo, and he has a line. What is it? Death is like the wind, always by my side.
Oh no.
That was so smooth.
It was really smooth, but it definitely wasn't Yasuo.
Is it? Wait, that's not Yasuo.
Everyone's a critic.
No, I mean the voice. I mean.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I'm not a professional voice actor, but it's the line that I went with. Anyways, getting into game here. Yeah. See Shoemaker with a couple of Wukongs there. Some Vanguards, a decent synergy.
I just want them to put my skin ideas in the game eventually. We got to get Walker, Texas, Rengar at some point in League of Legends.
Oh, he
My
has
campaign
a
will
chosen
never end.
mage. Oh man, I think I would take that. The TF.
You know, I think it's good if you find like an early Nami to go along with it. But TF is just one of those very replaceable units early on if you're not really going for cultists. So I feel like a lot of people pass over that. But Mage is a really strong early trait. If you had another Nami, definitely I would think about picking that up.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is on a TF, and he probably isn't in the final comp.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on how the game goes, but then again, like I said, there's still a lot more testing that needs to be done. Obviously, the PBE has been out for like less than a week, right? And we know like these players have barely played it, so it's all about experimenting and seeing what works today. Double Vanguard for Shoemaker here. Yeah, okay. I do like the GA in the set. There's the Thresh.
Yeah, Thresh as well, though. A couple of options here for Shoemaker. Could go that Moonlight route, could go the Vanguard route. We'll see. Moving on over to Lev D. Trotsky, though, has a chosen Fiora, with the Enlightened being the chosen there. So, a lot of synergies, actually. Like 4 synergies with, between 4 units on round 2-1. That's kind of crazy.
This is what you can do with the whole chosen thing, right? Just gets that free Enlightened synergy online. Duelist is nice. Brawler is really nice to have. Let's see how this goes, though.
Oh yeah, definitely in the way of Lev D here. I mean, 4 units, one of them being chosen versus the 3 of Zhuangzi there. Zhuangzi with a pair of Zeds. We did see Shade 4 last game. Maybe Zhuangzi gonna try to go some Shades from there, or Ninjas, or maybe just have them in because they're strong units at the moment.
Oh yeah, did Ninja end up doing decently last lobby? I can't remember.
Well, it was 4 ninjas along with those assassins. So yeah, they definitely did a good job last time.
Okay, yes.
I thought there was ninjas with the shades and not the assassins.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
My memory's not as good as Crone's.
Yeah, they still did pretty well though. I was specifically just excited for seeing if shades worked, because that's the first time I'd seen someone get to that 4 shade synergy. But I think they still did pretty well. I believe it was top 4, but I don't have good enough memory for that one.
Yeah.
This Fiora is probably, unless he really is planning on going duelist, this is one you're probably going to want to swap out at some point. Once you get a couple more 2-stars, you kind of have to, like, sometimes you stabilize around your early chosen, and then once you do and you have a couple more 2-stars, you can sell it safely, you know?
Yeah,
and I think that's one you probably want to swap out.
Yeah, especially because it's Enlightened synergy. Like, while Enlightened is good, you're not going to have Fiora being the primary, like, Enlightened carry by any means. That's going to be with the role of Morgana later on. So I think it's very much so, especially with the choice to level up to level 4 on 2-1. It's just going to try to win streak in the early game and probably sell it, I would imagine, around Krugs, maybe a bit later if he just happens to roll some other really strong stuff. But we'll definitely sell it later on.
Ooh, Garen 2.
Is it you can find a chosen legendary unit, right? So it's just a fully upgraded legendary unit with double synergy?
I think only at level 9 you can do it though. They used to be 8, and then they changed it because it was like too strong.
You're seeing so many of them.
Yeah.
It does seem hard to get to that point, because then you have to not be playing a chosen to even find a good one.
Yeah.
Right. That's right. So that does make it hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
You would have to just be playing like a strong board in terms of not just like a solid, like 6 Elderwood or something like that, but just like a strong board of a lot of little synergies. And then, you get to a point where maybe you're in like a 1v1 or like 1v2 situation and your comp isn't really working out right now. So you kind of have to risk finding something better, go to 9, sell your chosen, and, pray for something else that works out. I'd be hesitant to say that you would just do it just because, especially if you're already like winning or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we probably won't see a whole lot of them in competitive play, at least in the future. But it is cool when it happens. It is very strong. It looks like we've got the Fortune synergy going for AlphaGo here, which is a synergy that I really think is interesting, because if you win a round, you get a prize. If you don't win a round, you don't get a prize. But the longer you go without getting one, aka without winning a round, the bigger the reward is at the end. So it's a synergy that actually synergizes with loss streaking, which I feel like is really interesting, because I don't think we've seen synergies that work with styles of play over just deal with the champions on the board. So I think that's kind of a really cool way to approach things. It's a neat synergy.
So I just saw a question in chat where they asked if there could be a chosen ninja.
I haven't seen one, but I would assume you could. I don't know if I can get any confirmation from that from anyone else, but I'm not sure.
I don't know how that works. Because there's the whole
You can't play him. He's just a weaker ninja when you're playing him by himself.
Yeah. Apparently actually Giovanni just let us know that Ninja is excluded, apparently. At least on launch. So it might still be in the PvE. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently on launch it won't be there. So that makes sense, because that does get a little bit weird with Ninja, because it says you have to have either exactly 1 or exactly 4. So it's like, oh, my ninja is 2 ninjas, even though he's just 1 ninja. But it looks like we won't have to worry about that, so that's good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That'd be a little awkward, I suppose. Or a little strong if you get like an exiled chosen Yasuo early and he gets the light skill for free. So I can see why that's not going to be the case.
According to Mort, in case you didn't know, Ninja and Exile cannot be chosen.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That makes sense.
It's almost as if they've been testing these things longer than we have.
Crazy.
Who knew? Well, AlphaGo doing okay with this this fortune-based composition. A little bit of divine, a little bit of enlightened in there. This round, as soon as I say it though, caster curse is real. Can you get one more?
Luck's
No.
not strong enough.
Yep.
There's already a Vigar with a gunblade there, so that's gonna be stacking up since stage 2. KC Double gonna go the route of Elderwood and mages, it seems, again.
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of where he placed the Lux, but maybe it's because maybe there were some assassins or shades or something. But
do you like
I feel
corner
like she
position better?
Yeah, I feel like she tends to do better when she's off to the side,
Totally
or at
agree.
least like getting a better angle than the middle.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Becca. Like you have to think of it kind of like the Lux from earlier in set 3, where the better angle she can get crossing the board, the more people she's gonna hit. So yeah, I think it's better to corner the Lux if you can.
Yeah,
for sure.
Even sometimes people were choosing to put Lux like towards the top corner as well, even to hit a lot of the frontline units, depending on certain things. But 4 sharpshooters from Pobe here. Will we see a 6 sharpshooter game? I don't think we have yet.
I hope so. I feel like right now in the PBE, if I'm just like, I want to get top 4 and maybe have a chance of winning this game, I will just play sharpshooters, because for some reason I feel really comfortable with this comp, but I also think it's really strong. Specifically, if you go 2 Vanguard, 4 sharpshooter, and then other synergies along with that. If you can get the 6 sharpshooter, great, that's awesome, but you don't necessarily need to make this comp good. And you have like little side synergies like Dusk worked in there as well via like the Thresh and the Vayne later on. And Jin is imagine Jin, but every time he shoots, he also hits other people as well. That's what Jin does now. So he's like a better version of the Jin we had in set 3, which was already great. So yeah, I love sharpshooters, and I think it's going to be a pretty strong comp. It plays a lot like Astro Snipers or Vanguard Snipers if you played that in the past.
Yeah, I have a question, actually. I'm not sure. Maybe one of you know. Does Runaan's work with Sharpshooter? Like, will the Runaan's shot proc Sharpshooter?
Oh.
No, because those technically aren't auto attacks, so
okay.
those wouldn't bounce. Yep. Those are just
cool.
extra attacks, basically.
Yeah, that could get pretty crazy. I remember, like, you know, the Sivir and all those bounces before, and so, yeah, that would get a little bit too wild, so makes sense.
I think Runin's is still good to build on, like, a Jhin or something like that, because he does still hit hard with that fourth shot. So it's not a bad thing to build on him, but yeah, you don't get any extra benefit with Sharpshooter from it.
I wonder if Bobe's gonna reroll for sharpshooters, because he is holding 6 Nidalees, and then there's the one extra Teemo on his bench.
Yeah, could.
You
Maybe
could.
that's
Remember
viable.
the old Nidalee 3 carry comps.
Hey, she does a very similar thing now, and then now that spear does ricochet too, because it's not just the auto attacks; it's the abilities as well. So with Teemo, you're blinding a lot of people. With Nidalee, you're hitting a lot of people with the spear and doing a lot of damage if they're far away. Nidalee is definitely a core part of the early game with this build. Later on, she gets overshadowed by units like Jhin and Jinx, who have like a stun and things like that, and Jhin just hits hard. But early on, Nidalee is great.
Something that I was talking about earlier when we were, you know, showcasing all of those new origins and classes actually was Sharpshooter, and I talked a little about Jinx. You're going to be able to, you know, splash the Jinx rocket, which stuns and deals AoE damage. So if you're able to get to like that 6 Sharpshooter synergy, I think it's 3 ricochets that you'll have, so like 4 units getting stunned with every Jinx rocket. Maybe like putting like, I don't know, a Shojin or something on her. I did try a little bit, so perhaps, you know, it'll be strong if you have her as a secondary carry. Not sure she can be the primary though.
Yeah, I've never built her as the primary carry. She doesn't even really need items to do well, because you get those ricochet stuns like you're talking about. When I've won games with this, and I've won multiple games with sharpshooters at this point, it's always been I have Vayne hold Jhin items, and I have Nidalee hold Teemo items. Unless I get a Teemo early, and I just put the items on them directly. So I give Teemo all the AP items. I give Vayne and then Jhin all the AD items, and then just kind of go from there. It's like Shojin's is really good on Teemo, because the more people you're blinding, the less damage your team is taking. So that's the basic way I've been approaching it. That's worked so far.
True. Yeah, man, that's an early Irelia chosen right there. It's Irelia too. Utilizing that GA and the Shojins. I think Irelia ability is actually really strong. It's an AoE disarm that has a pretty sizable radius there. So really good unit, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder which part got chosen for the Irelia.
Yeah.
If it's Divine, I'm excited.
Yep, we'd have to actually see his board to find out, but sometimes you kind of figure it out from process of elimination. But I'm curious too.
True.
You know, the funny thing is, we were told it's enlightened. That's interesting. Okay, so just cool. Faster casting then. That's cool. If I were Bobe right now, I would actually swap out this this Hecarim for the Thresh, because I believe if we get a chance to look at his board anymore, he's missing out on possibly a Dusk buff. Yeah, so if he swapped out the Hecarim for the Thresh, it would be a slightly weaker tank, but Guarantoo is strong enough on his own at this point in the game that it'd be better to have that Dusk buff and just give the 20% spell damage bonus to his whole team. And then the shields from Thresh, are fine at level 1.
Yeah, I'm trying to think through. I guess 20% spell power is pretty good. Like, Nidalee utilizes it well, Teemo utilizes it well, even Garen with the spin. Huge. So, yeah, it might be right there. It's going to end up winning the round, it seems, anyway, versus AlphaGo. But interesting to see the thought process of these competitors here, of which synergies they prioritize, or just versus having a, what they think is a quote-unquote stronger board.
Yeah, 1-star versus 2-star in this case. But I would take the 1-star with better synergies over the 2-star, because, like I mentioned, I think Garen 2 is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, early game unit in the set right now. And so he can do fine as long as he's got the Vanguard buff, and the other Vanguard can be 1-star. It's no big deal.
Yeah, definitely. A bit of a, perhaps, I don't want to say a counterpoint, but I do think Hecarim can be strong if he has a couple of tanky items and a Gunblade, actually, because I've seen Hecarims kind of just like live forever. I suppose that was with Gargoyle's Stoneplate, with the extra resistances, it has been nerfed there, but if you do have a couple of those, let's just say theoretically on Hecarim and a Gunblade, I think he can kind of like live forever almost. Maybe one of them in like a Declaw or something, maybe a Bramble depending on what the lobby's looking like, but I am curious how Hecarim can function. Ooh, a Jhin.
That's a good question. I should test Hecarim more. Yeah, so he just got that Jin. That's a pretty upgrade for him. But we're going to check out how Lev D is doing. Hey, we've seen a similar build to this, although rather than being Elderwood Mage, this is actually Brawler. So 6 Brawler already to really protect that Veigar. And, you know, you really only need 3 Mage online just so he gets a double cast. And it's going to be strong. Not as strong, but still pretty strong.
Yeah, has the Lulu on the bench? No 3 mages in yet, but man, look at how much HP 6 Brawlers is. At this point in the game, it's going to take so long for units to break through, and while that's happening, Veigar is just going to be casting the whole time, I say. Not very often, though, as only a singular tier is on Lev D's Veigar, but the Veigar of KC Double actually already having 2 completed items, Shojin's and Gunblade, doing a lot here.
Yeah.
The
I have to imagine that Nunu's
from
just going
Ari
to eat
are
him,
so
though.
satisfying.
True.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. HP was too good there, though.
I haven't seen anyone build a Gargoyle Stone Plate yet, right? I wanted
That's
to see
surprising to me.
how it I wanted to see how it performs after the nerf.
I saw one get grabbed from the I saw one get grabbed from the carousel at stage 5, I believe, in one of our previous games, but yeah, no one going out of their way to build it. Maybe people thinking that 12 MR and armor isn't enough at this point, but I think it's still pretty good as well. Not sure.
Yeah, I still like it. I don't know. It's definitely not as strong as it was, and maybe you'd always want to build something like a Sunfire Cape first, but
yeah,
it still feels like it's a slammable item early.
We saw a couple Sunfire Capes there actually, too. Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
You guys like it a lot?
Sunfire Cape? Yeah. It's really good. Just
I think so too.
Yeah. What do you like about Akroan?
I think it's super good in the early game because it was buffed to proccing every 1 second. With how slow fights generally go in the early game, you're going to be getting so much value in Sunfire spreading to multiple units and just dealing that much damage. Like, we even see there, I think oh no, was that true damage that consumed for Nunu? Yeah, it was. But if we see a fight in the future with a Sunfire Cape, we'll really see how much damage that it does end up doing.
And we should talk about the Nunu actually wrecking people. Wow, it's a Vayne 3 for Slooper. That's cool. We'll have to check that out later. But back with Nunu. So Nunu's got a neat mechanic where if his target has less health than him when he bites them, it does an additional 50% damage and it does true damage. So that's why you see him just literally eating people if he has more HP. Which, with 6 Brawlers, you're pretty much always going to have more HP than whoever he's fighting. So that's a neat thing to consider, is that Nunu's going to be extra scary with this comp.
Oh, maybe a spat? Yeah.
I think we also saw someone with a Lysandra 3, and if you have Moonlight with a 3-star with a bunch of 3-star units, you can get a 4-star unit, right?
Yeah, you can.
That's how that works.
I hope someone is re-rolling Moonlight. I want to see it.
Yeah, we did have one person do that. I believe we briefly spotted it on someone scouting, but there was a Lysandra 3 and the Diana 3, which is the Aphelios that was still tier 2'd. So that Aphelios gets tier 3'd later, it's going to be a tier 4 Aphelios.
Yeah. I like that you can direct who becomes the higher star level and ties by items. And Aphelios seems like the best target for that right now, because you can just sit way in the back and create like infinite turrets. So it's I hope we get to see it. But this Vayne 3 though. Vayne is pretty oftentimes good. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was staring at Slooper as he's making the item choices on the Garen. He could have made a Gargoyle Stone Plate, but chose to make the GA instead. It's because we were just talking about that. It was on my mind. But Vayne also super good unit right now, especially getting it tier 3 so early, I think.
Garen 3 as well. But I think a lot of people would say Vayne is probably the weakest sharpshooter out of all of them at the moment. So I'm really interested to see how well this Vayne 3 performs, or if it's going to fall off later. I feel like you would rather have a Jin 2 than a Vayne 3 when it comes down to it. But we'll see. I honestly don't know. So I'm really interested to see if he's able to come back and start win streaking with this.
Yeah, with the Chosen mechanic, it does feel like there are a lot more tier 3 units now, or 3-star units now, because you can just get a full Vayne 2 early on.
Yeah.
Only need
it's kind of the old star cluster mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a Dusk Vein as well, so I can't ignore that one. I don't think Dusk really synergizes that well with Vayne herself, so we're probably not going to see a Dusk-focused comp, but it's a cool thing to splash in there. Maybe fitting one more in somehow to get that 4-piece synergy. Her Silver Bolts will deal a lot more damage with that 4 Dusk buff.
Yeah, maybe that's what you go for here with this, is you try to turn this into a 4 Dusk comp, and then maybe get some Riven with some items. So Riven and Vayne are your main carries, and you're not as worried about Sharpshooter. That
would probably be good.
That sounds good. Yeah, like at level 8, put in another Dusk. I like that.
I'm a fan.
All right.
Oh yeah, here's this Moonlight comp with 5 Hunters.
Yes.
That's the most Hunters you can get.
Wow.
Hunters! I've been waiting for a Hunter comp. I'm excited to watch John Seed play this.
Huh.
Can Schwanzi
There's
go
no front line.
first?
He
could.
I wonder. He's finding some really unique stuff to do that with. Like 5 Hunters, I've never seen anyone do that, but that's a huge amount of damage.
Yeah.
Wait, is it just Hunters, no Moonlight? Oh no, there is Moonlight.
There's Moonlight, yeah. So
Okay.
it'll just be a tier 3 now. Needs to find a lot more of them though to get that tier 4. It still is like 5 away from that point.
Yeah, but it is a tier 3 Diana, tier 3 Lissandra with 5 Hunters.
Oh, this looks so strong actually.
This is insane. The Hunters all focus the same unit, right? Because they start focusing the lowest health unit?
They do like an extra attack to the lowest health unit every few seconds, and then the strength of that attack gets stronger depending on how many Hunters you have in.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Very interesting.
I think this comp looks like a top 1 with his health, and then he can even transition into he can transition into like just like a pure legendary comp too, with how much health and time he has.
I just wonder if his front line is going to be strong enough, because he's going to be theoretically doing a lot of damage, but if his team runs into something with a little bit stronger front line and then more damage coming from the back line that's not getting hit, because remember, the Hunters target the lowest health champion, so I wonder if something like a Mage comp or like a Veigar comp could take this in the late game. Certainly not right now, but I'm curious.
Yeah.
I think with the Diana in, you just put in another, is it an assassin, to get onto the carries, and then the Hunters will focus those
that's a good
carries
point.
on the back. Yeah,
That's really true.
So this is gonna be a good one. I wonder which one he would use, which assassin he would use.
I think Talon. I was actually going to ask the same thing, but I was thinking of it, and I think perhaps Talon, probably being the best standalone assassin to throw in that case.
Probably. Yeah, he's going to do the best against single targets in the late game, I think.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone go 5 Hunters before, though, so I don't know. Holy cow, that is a lot of damage, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Aphelios does so much damage to the back.
Well, Chauncey likes chasing these high synergies, like the high piece synergies rather. Last game with that 6 assassin, and now this game with the 5 hunters. Got pretty fortunate in finding that hunter buffed Aphelios though, but is kind of just like rolling with the punches here and making it look super, super strong. At a 9 win streak right now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Zhuangzi.
The Lissandra. He has the Lissandra with Dazzler, and it's such a good. Well, I'm just a big fan of Dazzler synergy. So he can also get in Dazzler once he gets to 9.
Yeah.
And just slow down the damage from the other players.
Warwick 2 is huge. That is scary now. Extra scary. I'm starting to think Zhuangzi has like a whole staff of people just grinding the PvE and giving him info here, because he seems to know all the secret strats here. Because this is crazy.
Yeah.
So how far is he from Aphelios 3? Does he just have 5 total right
4
now?
away, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to find him at this point in the game, too. 35%.
Shoemaker taking
actually, it's not too bad.
hit there.
Yeah. Wow, 80 HP and a win streak. And they did change a little bit the percentages of the percentage chance you have to find units at different levels. And so now you can kind of chill at level 7 and look for the level 2s yet. Or was it 35% in set 4? I'm like, everything is blending together now because my mind is so focused on 4 now that I'm forgetting 3 already.
Yeah, blends in. I think you're right though, but not 100% there.
I feel like 3 was 30%, 35 for 2 and 3. Why am I forgetting now?
I'm actually just not sure.
I know, now this is like tilting me.
Oh well.
Do you guys like the positioning? I think he has everything backlined so that in case he can't get onto the super safe carries, they're forced to come out a bit. I really like how he has everything backed up.
Well, Becca, it's like you talked about. If he gets an assassin, that's going to be even better for jumping the back line here. And I wonder who he's going to use that on. I kind of like it on Warwick, although that does weaken your front line even more. So I don't know.
I was going to say that too, and
It's
it
so
looks like
tempting.
he's thinking about it. Warwick getting to the back line is going to do a bunch, especially after that first kill. And think about it, he has that AoE fear as well. So if he gets a kill in the back line, can fear everything else as Aphelios is doing damage. And yes, he's doing it. Frozen Heart on top of it as well. This is so good.
Yeah, Frozen Heart keeps the Warwick a little bit safer, theoretically ensures that he gets his ability off. I like that he's not putting him in the middle or anything like that, because he doesn't want him to be the focus of everybody. But this is a disgusting comp from Zhuangzi right now.
This is insane. I want to recreate this so badly. Assassin
Not
Warwick
easy.
sounds awesome. And he owned it.
Yep.
The thing about set 4 though, it's so hard to recreate moments like this because you need to specifically find that Hunter Aphelios and get the spatula for the assassin. So while it looks like really strong right now, and I want to recreate it too, Becca, like I'm right there with you. It's just thinking about like it's so hard to actually be able to pull off in that way.
Well, set 4 seems like it's all about your own journey, you know? It's what is the experience that you have in each of your games? Because it's always different each game in a game of TFT, but it feels like it's going to be even more different this time around.
Yeah, 100% agreed there.
Yeah.
So the Lux is in for Dazzler and Enlightened. Are there any other Enlightened units here? I think she's an Enlightened unit.
She's Divine Dazzler, I believe.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it gives the
Oh
buffs.
yeah, that buffs. Yeah, to Warwick. Oh man, this is such a sick comp.
It really is.
Not only does Warwick have his ability, which is really good, but also when he drops below 50% HP, he gets 25% damage reduction and does true damage. So, yeah. And it looks like he doesn't even need to do anything. Everyone else just carry him for him. Wow, AlphaGo takes a big hit. Zhuangzi just like casually coming in here and maybe 3 firsts in a row. With 3 different comps too.
Yeah, and the sick thing is he did that in set 3, and now he might do it again in set 4. Like, what can't Zhuangzi do? 2 more Aphelioses until we'll see that tier 4. So I'm definitely here for it.
Oh, if he does get that Aphelios and does get it to set 4, then there's no doubt in my mind that he's going first. There's another one.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, that's a Vi. I'm still getting used to the portraits. Sorry, they've got the same haircut.
The funniest one earlier was I thought someone had a bunch of Nidalees, but I was wondering why it was slightly discolored, and I realized it was Xin Zhao. You just don't think you're gonna mistake Xin Zhao for Nidalee, but they look really similar if you guys get the chance to see it.
This is what happens in the early days
hair
of
and
a
the
set,
spear.
you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like I kept getting Syndra and Lux mixed up at the beginning of set 3, and now it's like laughable to think of that happening, but it just takes time, you know?
That's so true, because I used to get Jarvan and Lord mixed up every time.
He still won. Yeah, me too, actually. He still won.
13 win streak here for Zhuangzi. Even the tier 3 Vayne from Slooper is just no match against the tier 3 Aphelios.
If he hits the Aphelios 4, it's lights out. There's no way he's losing this. I did see was that an 8 mage? No. He was scouting, and I swear I saw that. Or like a 9 mage, I think it is what you need.
Let's take a look. Yeah, you do need 9. It goes 3, 6, 9.
Yeah.
9 mage is so much spell power. If someone's able to accomplish that and they have a Vigar on, the Vigar might just like one-shot everything.
Yeah, isn't it like 180% or something? I'm trying to remember.
That's a good question.
Let me look it up. I think I have what I believe to be up-to-date stats. Yeah, it's according to what I've got, it's 180%, which is a lot of spell power. Maybe that can beat the Hunters. Oh, there's a Silas. So
Yeah,
not an
one
Aphelios.
more.
There he
we
is.
go.
He found it. Pops the Frozen Heart off, which is even better. I would maybe put that on the Diana or something, or maybe a Lysandra.
Probably Diana,
Just
I would say.
Yeah, he's already got one Frozen Heart jumping to the back line, so maybe you put on Lissandra to be slightly tankier.
There's a couple options there, yeah. You can make the Lissandra tankier and slow the front line down, or have both sides of the back line getting slowed, because Warwick is jumping to one side, Diana jumping to the other.
It's nothing but good either way. And there's that Aphelios 4. We're seeing it. A 4-star here in the showcase.
Yeah, so talking about his positioning,
disgusting.
He moved his Lissandra up one row, which makes sense because now he kind of wants to protect his assassins instead of having them get focused too early.
There's no way he's losing this.
Yeah,
I can't imagine anything beating this.
I asked for a hunter game and I got the ultimate hunter game.
Seriously, yeah, you really got what you were looking for there. We're going to swap over and see what Bobe is up to. And he has, okay, so I mistook the icon. He has 6 sharpshooter. I mistook that for like a mage icon because it kind of looks like a spell, right? It kind of looks like a magic missile. But no, it is sharpshooters instead. And 6 sharpshooter is pretty strong. 3 ricochets, only 30% damage reduction if memory serves.
Yeah, I believe so. Well, let's see. Hunters versus sharpshooters. Who's going to take it?
Well, sharpshooters take a while to do their damage. That's the problem here. Is that it takes time to ricochet through. The blind from Teemo though, but Teemo's already dead. I was gonna say maybe if the blind got into the back line and started, you know, stopping Aphelios from doing damage, but if you don't have that happening, I think that's the only shot you've got to beat that comp.
Top 4 right now. AlphaGo getting eliminated in 5th.
Yep.
I think Slooper, I know we've been talking about Xuanzi a lot, but Slooper, I believe it was in 2nd place going into game number 3. He's found himself in the top 4 again, was praising Slooper for managing to find his way into the top 4 for the Galaxies Championship yesterday, but Slooper is still performing very well today in the Fates Showcase, so super impressed with him still.
Yeah, he's definitely an underdog, and he's really proven himself throughout this tournament.
Oh, certainly.
So, Bobe scouting to see what other items people are getting here. What do you get? Got the locket. All right.
Yeah.
So, a nice one to add in at the end of this comp is going to be a Zillion, because you're going to get, in a lot of cases, you'll find Mystic, not this game where he's going 6 sharpshooter, but you do get Cultist, and you do get the Zillion ability, which is really good. So if I were him and I wanted to put something in, I'd be looking for a Zillion above all else right now. There it is.
Oh, he found it. Oh,
yeah, but he passed it over. Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
just
it works
seems
really
to
well,
be
trust
rolling
me.
It seems to be rolling for upgrades, I think. You know, chasing that tier
so.
3 Sejuani is 3 away still, though, so might not be able to find it in time. Locket going to Sejuani's for a bit of extra tanky front line.
Mm-hmm. So he's going to have a little bit more time to do the damage now, and yeah, now you can see the sharpshooter spells going off and all of that ricochet ability doing work.
Oh my.
Oh, wait, Chauncey lost.
Yeah, Slooper beat him. 4 Dusk, 4 sharpshooter. Is that what we're looking at?
Talking about the Slooper underdog story, I want to check out his perspective here in a second, because man, he's really making a name for himself still in taking out the, like, what was it, 14 win streak probably at that point of Chauncey.
Mm-hmm. It was big. What does he got though? 4 Dusk, 4. Okay, so this was the This was the Dusk vein that we were looking at earlier. That is strong with 4 Dusk. Cool.
That is surprising.
I would not have thought. Yeah, I would not have thought this comp would have won there. Yeah, Becca, you were gonna say?
Oh, I just think it's so surprising that he has the 4 Dusk with 4 sharpshooters. Does the Dusk help Jin at all?
Oh, I see what it is. Okay, so the Jin, you know, he'll get that 20% buff, but it's really more about the Teemo and the Vayne here. It looks like he's going to lose this round because 6 sharpshooters is just going to be doing more damage overall. But I believe the Zeeks that he had probably helped Teemo cast faster and got that blind into the back lines a little bit quicker. And so when you combine that with the extra 60% damage that Vayne gets from the 4 Dusk trait, I would imagine it's probably those 2 things that helped him win that round.
Yeah. You also got to be careful with your Slooper here because, while there isn't any Blitzcranks in this set, there is Aatrox, and Vayne could be pulled by an Aatrox. I'm not sure if either of Bobe or Chauncey has one. Yeah, Bobe does have an Aatrox, so we'll
Right.
have to be watching out for that.
Yeah, you definitely want to not have your Vayne get pulled into the enemy team.
Okay.
Oh, here
goes
we
up
go.
Against Swansea though.
Yeah.
The run back.
Up against the Ghost here. Let's see how this works. I'm watching for how Timo casts. Oh, Timo turned onto the Warwick, actually. He did get the blind in the back line, though.
Yeah,
Wow.
but still, I mean, the
Yeah,
kind
that
of
was a
the lack of
decisive
front line
win.
that we were talking about. Yeah, the lack of front line just seems to melt, and then the Aphelios is just all of a sudden alone very quickly and gets taken out. So
Yeah.
that matchup's interesting.
Oh, it's the
Neat.
rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. Oh man, if you're Slooper, you're gonna be praying to fight Swansea next round and not Bobe.
Yeah.
Man, this is
Well,
intense.
it's crazy either way because, theoretically, Zhuangzi could get a 2-kill with the next round because both Bobe and Slooper are under 5 HP at this point. But we know Slooper can win it, theoretically.
And if you're Swansea, you're hoping Bobe can take out Slooper for you.
Yeah. Can you fit the Zillion in? That's the question.
Not
I
looking
guess
like
looking at Bobe
it.
now. Yeah.
Bobe 2 Sejuani's away.
Ha. That'd be big. I don't know if that's going to
Would.
save him, but it'd be strong.
Would have to hold on and then probably somehow hit double Sejuani the next roll, which is unlikely but possible. Have seen crazier things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Jin being placed in the middle there.
Yep. Don't want him to get grabbed by the Aatrox or anything like that. Here's the Dusk Sharpshooters build here.
Oh,
that Aatrox, yeah, pulled in the
huge.
vein. Yep. That won him the round right there.
Exactly what I was talking about, and that exactly. Slooper gonna
Yep.
be falling in third. I wonder if Slooper could have won if the vein was not in the corner there.
Yeah.
It's possible,
I think he just
definitely.
forgot.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a new set. There's so many new, traits and new abilities all these units do. You're not gonna look at Aatrox and like, oh, he's gonna affect, my board like Blitzcrank. It's probably just a little bit of an oversight there. So can't really blame Slooper too much for that.
In
yeah,
this
I was
top-lane
talking.
lobby, I think. Huh?
Go ahead.
I think the Adept would have been so good, right? Putting
Oh,
an
yeah.
Adept against Sharpshooters, Hunters,
Definitely.
the Vayne.
Yeah, I was talking
this is
earlier with
one
some
of-
friends of mine and being like, oh, I'm so glad I don't need to worry about Blitzcrank positioning anymore. And then you get to the late game, you're like, oh no, Aatrox.
Yeah. At least
Yeah.
not early game. It was kind of always annoying when Blitzcrank was meta and everyone was playing him early game, so you have to constantly be scouting from stage 2. But now you have a little
Right.
bit of a time of reprieve to where you can, wait
True.
for that until people get forecasts.
Are we going to see a famous
Okay.
Zhuangzi walk-off here?
Not yet.
Oh, all right.
I didn't get
Can
to
he
see
take him
what
down?
did it, but something
Yeah.
one-shot that Aphelios, or did it a lot of damage at once. And I
Jhin?
didn't get to see what it was. Was it Jhin?
Could have been Jin.
Maybe.
Jin
Yeah, I'm not sure
certainly
myself.
can do that. So Bramble Vest for Zhuangzi, and I can't quite make out what it
It's
is
the
for...
Vanguard spot for Bobe there.
Oh.
Oh, neat. So you get 4 Vanguard out of that.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to go to level 9 because he's been rolling for the Sejuani 3. Could take out one of the Vanguards that he already has and maintain on 4. I'm not sure what unit that he would put in at that point though. But either way, has like 20 or so gold to roll down to find one more Sejuani. And with that tier 3, he already won the last round versus Swansea, but that might like solidify it if the matchup goes, even remotely how it did last time.
Yeah, for sure. I would say maybe you'd want to consider tossing the Vanguard item on like a Jhin just to give him extra armor. Try to help him survive a little bit more. Where is it? Come on. Not like this.
No.
No, I would not take that Thresh out. That's Dusk. You don't want to take that out.
Oh, wait, he does. 2 Sejuanis. I mean, that's a lot of CC. Dusk isn't like
But-
the most amazing thing here, so I could see the argument for it.
Okay, alright. I guess so.
Okay, the Sejuani is all over that Aphelios.
Okay,
but
but it's not enough.
Oh,
Sejuani just doesn't have a survivability ult though. That's the thing. So you
Yeah.
need that extra damage. So I'm a little bit surprised about the Dusk removal, but either way, props to Zhuangzi. 3 games in a row. He basically crushed it. He got 3 wins in a row. What more can you say?
I can't believe he just swept it. He swept the last day.
That's right. In the clown fiesta of the PBE, everyone's testing and experimenting thing, he has the biggest red nose of them all today. Congratulations, Zhuangzi. He did a good job though of finding these comps that did a lot more damage than I was expecting. So good read on what we know so far about the set. Very cool to see.
Definitely coming into today, be willing to pursue those high-end synergies that you wouldn't usually expect. It's like, okay, maybe you go a 9-piece synergy, but he went those ones that are kind of in the middle with that 6 assassin and that 5 hunter that I haven't seen run at all between set 4, but he did it, and he did it very, very, very well.
Yeah. So there you have it. Our Teamfight Tactics Fates Showcase Champion. It's going to be Zhuangzi, and it was a lot of fun today. Like we were talking about, the competition not as quite as a high level, of course, as the Galaxies Championships that we concluded this weekend. But even with a little bit on the line, it's fun to see these players kind of mess around with the synergies, try things out, and Zhuangzi managing to get the wins today. He's getting sweaty in that lobby.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching them play. It definitely wasn't the same level of play that we saw from them, like you said, from the set 3 games. But I'm really impressed. I'm super impressed by Zhuangzi for pulling out 3 wins. And in what I assume he just hasn't prepared that much. He's just amazing.
I think he's got like a secret staff of people getting the info for him. He knew he was going to need it today. He's like, all right, let me see the report, and he read it this morning and got ready. Either way, impressive play from him. But let's see what Giovanni has to say about that. How about that last game?
Yeah, so wanted to point out a couple of clips that I found pretty interesting early on here. I actually ended up following Bobe and Zhuangzi the entire game, basically. Noticed both their comps were pretty powerful, hit early spikes in power, and were able to carry them throughout the game. In this early clip here on 3-3, we have a really early Sharpshooter 4 running 2 Nidalees, 2 2-star Nidalees, in fact. And it's not a comp that we had seen run a whole lot this showcase at all. But it was clearly very powerful, very well-rounded, and this power spike enabled him to sort of carry himself at high health until the mid-game before having to bump up to eventual 6 Sharpshooters. I think the round after this as well, he ended up getting Jin, which was another really powerful spike and a great character to itemize. Here is, I just wanted to point out, even early on in the game, we had 5 hunters coming out from Zhuangzi. We had this 3 Moonlight, triple 3 stars already running on the board. Super powerful, as most of you guys saw. It carried him until really late in the game with this super long win streak. I think it was like 12 or 13, maybe even more wins. Very powerful. Really, really nice play there. And of course, eventually, we have this even further power spike. Later on in the game, he's fishing here for Aphelios 3. He's one off, finds it, which then allows Aphelios, as the most itemized unit in the Moonlight comp, to be powered up to 4-star. And 4 stars are new to TFT here in Fates. It is only if all of your Moonlights are already 3-star, and it is a pretty meaningful power spike both in health, in damage, in their ability. In this case, Aphelios' turrets last like 15 seconds instead of 9, and so it's pretty powerful here, and you can see that he just kind of starts running away with the game here as soon as that 4-star Aphelios comes into play. Just kind of mows down an entire team, and especially with that 5 hunter piece already in play, just every couple of seconds, boom, 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 one-shotting units, super powerful. And then here, finally, just wanted to call out the final game we had. Both of these players, top comps. I think that maybe the move to pull the Thresh out might have been a bigger detriment than expected. But if, of course, he had hit the Sejuani 3, would have played out very differently. Still amazing play from both players, with eventually the Hunter Moonlight comp winning this game.
Yeah, Giovanni, thank you so much for breaking down all those plays from that last game, because I think everyone in the chat was going, wait a second, how? How do you manage to pull off 3 wins in a row in a completely new set that almost none of our 8 participants have played yet because they've been focusing on the Galaxies Championship? So that's absolutely insane to me. But Giovanni, for you, you've broken down almost every single play, every single move throughout the TFT Fate Showcase today. So I just want to ask you, what was the most exciting or your favorite moment from today?
In general, we haven't seen a lot of love on PBE for hunters, and so it's super awesome to see them take away a game and do it so convincingly as well. But at the end of the day, what I appreciated most is that all of our top comps were like different across the board. We had hunters win, we had Elderwood like really high at the top, sharpshooters, and so I hope that style of play, that sort of like versatility of what comps are powerful and good and players want to sort of chase, we get to keep as we develop Fates even further with patches down the line.
Fingers crossed we get to see our players be a little bit more creative and innovative as we move on. But let's go ahead and pull up our final standings so we could see how each of our 8 players stacked up today. And honestly, it's no surprise. Today's Fates Showcase winner is, of course, Zhuanzi. A perfect tournament today. Absolutely perfect. First place wins across all 3 games. 24 points for him. Slooper Buddy, you were so close behind him at 17, and I do not know what happened with Shoemaker. 3 8th places in a row. This is how the prizing breaks down today. Zhuanzi going home with that $3,000 and prizing in addition to their Galaxies Championship prizing as well. So everyone is going home with a nice chunk of change. So congratulations to all of our participants across the Galaxies Championship, as well as Zhuanzi for taking the Fates Showcase first play title. Round of applause to him. Pogs in the chat for him. Congratulations. Giovanni, the question that I would have for you today is, I was trying to get a little bit out of you when we first started this morning. I'm like, what's the hints? What's the secrets? What's going to be super OP and broken? Was there anything that you were looking forward to seeing that the players didn't happen to pick up today?
I honestly think that the top comps, top 3, were reliably playing the game in an adaptable way, right? They were seeing what Chosens were given to them. They were seeing what the shop was providing to them and trying to build a composition around that. There was very little forcing of comps, it seemed. Players who were getting top 4 and kind of really leaning on Elderwood were getting top 4, but those top 2 were consistently just like, well, what do I got? What do I need? What can I possibly win with? And I think that's really valuable for a set and sort of the skill mastery. So happy to see that. It was exactly what I was expecting and hoping for. So good on the players, all of them, for doing such a great job.
Good on the players. Giovanni, good on you. I want to thank you for blessing us with your incredible insight. And once again, thank you for bringing us an amazing new set with the TFT Fates set. That's it for us here. I do want to bring back in our casters as we recap the day.
Hey, we're back. Let's recap this. Guess what? Aphelios is pretty strong. If you can get him to 4 stars, that's right, you heard me, 4 stars, and a bunch of hunter friends to come along with him. That was a really, really strong comp, and I think it's really interesting because one of the big questions is, Moonlight is strong, but how do you transition from a Moonlight early game into a strong late game comp? And there you go. I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Warlord was in the top 3 synergies today because I can't remember seeing it too often, but I guess people just like sprinkled it in here and there.
Yeah, I think you probably see it. At least 1 or 2 people are going to be using it in the early game, almost every game it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many interesting things that we saw across the board. Again, today is basically like a celebration of the new set coming out. We've got dragons, we've got pandas, we've got cultists. Oh my, like so many new things hitting the board. So I just want to get basically like final observations or the most educational moment for you guys during this stream. For me personally, I was expecting to see a lot more set. Didn't happen though. So I'm hoping that, you know, in the future players are able to really find a good way to kind of work him in. But Doa, for you, any final observations?
Yeah, I'm just really excited about Fates. I think the chosen mechanic is really fascinating, and you know, I might not be known as an analyst in other games, but I do like to kind of stretch that muscle in my brain sometimes, and TFT has been a really fun way to do that. And I think Fates is going to be the most complex, but the most rewarding set yet, where like you're going to be playing it, and you're going to do something around a chosen, and you're going to feel really smart doing it. So I'm looking forward to a lot of that.
And Crone, as a competitive player yourself, what are you looking forward to the most with this new set?
Yeah, I kind of want to elaborate on Doa's point there with Becca's point earlier of wanting to recreate some of the things that we see with the chosen mechanic. I think that what's going to be standing out of players, breaching that gap from good to great player is utilizing those very specific things that you get out of that specific chosen unit. And it's going to create a lot of super exciting moments that, we'll see, in 6 months again when we have a showcase, or not a showcase, but the championship for Fate Set 4. I'm personally really excited for that. I want to be competing there, but, if not, I'm cool with casting too, but no, super cool stuff.
Crone, I'll be totally unbiased, but secretly be cheering for you from the sidelines, like, let's go! But then also I selfishly want to have you casting with us again, so, it's kind of on both sides. But Becca, what about for you? Are we going to see you at the Fates Championship?
I'm not sure about that. I'm gonna try. I think I really want to put more effort into this set because although we didn't see it today, like the players did tend to go for the higher end synergies, like this, the 6, the 9. I'm hopeful for this set that it won't just be that it will be a bunch of smaller synergies, and then you do go for the big bang plays when you do get like a really good chosen or that specific unit you need. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to how this set and the meta hashes out.
Well, casters, I want to thank you all, Doa, Crow, and Becca, for doing such a phenomenal job, not just today, but for this entire week of Galaxies Championship Fates. We've got everything under the sun with TFT, and there is still so much more to do. So for everyone who's watching at home, you guys can also explore the Fates in Teamfight Tactics with the next set. It launches next week with the patch 10.19, so go ahead and show your support and excitement for the set by using that hashtag TFT Fates on social media. I had an amazing time with all of you guys. Congratulations again to our 8 players. Thank you all 16 players for participating, and again our casters, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.